What's up, everybody? It is the finality of the 1K No Limit Hold'em event. It's the fifth event we've done this summer. It's been a lot of fun. We're starting off with Kobe Bryant with Jacks. I mean, I didn't know, but I guess it's good news. It's Kobe Bryant.
Now, I know our thumb and title say this is the final table. We're actually not at the final table just yet. There's 11 players left. It is Kobe Bryant, or at least Kobe Bryant, and that's exciting with Jacks. Probably not going to get a whole lot of action now that he/she/it has 3-bet.
It looks like Alex52 is maybe trying to play big stack bully right now, opening the 4-5 off on the first hand that we see.
Yeah. Don't let him push you around, Alex52. Push back.
Is that real advice?
No. I mean, Kobe Bryant can't call with Jacks, right? Obviously, I kid.
So you can see that the next payout is 16K. First place, 273K, 1K buy-in. So a lot to play for here. There's also a World Series of Poker Europe package for first place, which adds a little sweetener to the salt, as they say in Malta. I think that's a Maltese saying.
No one in the history of the world has ever said adds a little sweetener to the salt. I just want to be very,
I'm sure.
very
I think that's what Joe Hasham used to say, isn't it? Bring some sweetener. Bring some sweetener for my salt. Isn't that what he said?
Pass the sweetener.
Yeah. Because this is too salty. Anyway. Let's see if Kobe Bryant wants to get a little loose.
Time. Yeah. Kobe Bryant saying, well, if you're not going to go for it every hand, I guess I will. Although Alex took the last hand, of course.
This is
like
probably
get through. Although FXOP could decide to make a play, but probably won't attack the under the gun range. Yeah.
That would have been surprising at this stage of the tournament.
It's hard to argue. I'm not going to even try and argue it because I'm with you, Grant.
I appreciate
agree with you.
Somebody's with me. That's all that matters.
Yeah. You and I pretty much never agree on anything, but this one time, yeah, you're probably right about that. One thing. So good. But we haven't really seen anything happen yet. We've just seen pre-flop raises and taking it down, but I guess it's only been a few hands, and no one's really been no cooler spots or anything yet, or even close.
I think we've been a little bit #blessed so far with the opening hands that we've been commentating on. I feel like last time it was just started with a real bang and it was like kings against ace king and stuff like that's been happening. But this time, more normal type hands. This is what real poker is like, man, down in the dirt, the grit. Deuce 3, Queen 9.
I mean, Queen 9's going to... Oh, wow. I thought Queen 9 was going to be able to defend, but never mind. At least people are trying. Like... I assume Alex is going to... Oh, Alex calls. Okay, that's perfectly reasonable, of course. Alex flops pretty well. Pretty well indeed.
Well, let's see if Alex sends up the signal here. The 3 is still ahead, which is pretty nice. But you can't really realize that equity most of the time. I think Alex is probably going to bet. Checks back, though.
Yeah. And gets there.
Yeah.
So that worked out pretty well for Alex. I'm surprised, though, that Alex didn't take the shot on the turn. You almost always get a win there.
Wow. And wow, the Deuce 3 is bluffing, huh?
Yeah. Trying to get a 10 to fold or like pocket 6s or something to fold.
I mean, it's a 4 straight board. It's a 4 straight board. It's a tough spot for King Queen.
Yeah. Although really, I mean, how many 9s are you really losing to? Ace 9, maybe 10-9 suited and pocket 9s? I guess 8-9 suited maybe. Not too many 9s.
So you just named like all of the 9s?
I named a bunch of 9s. Also, Ace King, of course, is the real problem, right? We block it as Alex52, but still, like FX Open knows that FX has Ace King and Alex kind of never does. So, but Alex raises bluffing with the King blocker. Gotta love it.
That is pretty. That is pretty cool.
Yeah. That's the please don't have Ace King, please don't have Ace King play. Don't you see that I blocked that?
Well, it's going to, air quotes, work unless Alex
Hmm.
gets shoved on, which would have been incredible. But no, we see the fold from FX Open. All right, we do see that these players are
Vicious.
willing to mix it up, which is good to see.
Yeah.
You know, I'm excited for that.
Agreed.
I play, why pay? What does that mean? Explain that to me.
Well, it means that that person plays and also wonders why pay.
Why
You know?
pay? Why do I have to pay for a sandwich? I play.
I play. Why pay? That's actually pretty good anytime you're anywhere.
Yeah.
If people want money from you for any service or good, you just say that. And I don't think there's any good response to that except, wow, ace deuce just folded for a min raise.
Well, the
the
river
big
was
blind.
the river was gonna kill him, so makes sense.
Jeez.
Especially considering we can see that Alex is trying to wield the big knife, but I guess that's why people wield the big knife, because it works, right? People make these types of decisions, and
Yeah.
you know, it makes highly unprofitable cash game plays super profitable in late stage tourney.
Yeah. Wow. I'm really, really surprised River Kill Me just folded the ace deuce there. That is an unusual fold for sure. I assume I play is going to be like, well, why pay? Have to call.
Did call. Queen high flop. Alex does have the best hand. Could bet mostly for equity denial and does. And the fold from I play, why pay? Why pay for one more street when I'm drawing to 6 outs over here and some backdoor straight
Nice.
draws? Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we got it's a battle of suited connectors now, which feels good.
That's actually the
That feels
next Great War movie by Christopher Nolan, The Battle of Suited Connectors. It means something entirely different in 1800s France.
Suited connectors does?
Yeah.
It's people who are, the connectors, people who know a lot of people, they network really well, and
Yeah.
they're well dressed. Obviously, though. I mean, anyone who read The Tipping Point would know that.
And when you militarize them, it becomes a Great War movie by Christopher Nolan.
The depth, the layers are really shocking. Also, there's, of course, a time travel element to it, obviously, because...
Well, I mean, it depends on your interpretation, but we don't have to get into that. It looks like Kobe Bryant is just going to take this one down like a sweet, inefficient 18-foot turnaround jumper
Ouch.
that just swishes right through.
Too soon.
I'm sure many people will take issue with that.
I think they will. That's my guess. But I appreciated it. So, does anything else really matter? I'm not sure anymore.
It's tough to answer that question.
Yeah.
This first action we're seeing from Semenininkus with King
No, that's
Jack.
right.
Semenininkus. We're going to see these players' real names. It is required at the final table that they reveal their real names, take off the mask. I'm going to guess Kobe Bryant is not Kobe Bryant. That would be surprising.
I mean, if so, we have a hell of an exclusive.
I mean,
Once again,
we have quite a story.
Really, it's way too soon. We have to stop.
That's a good
We have to
point.
stop. I don't know if people aren't upset yet in the chat, but do you see that Kevin Mather says greetings. Buns of Steel says commentary is about 10 seconds ahead of what we can actually see. That's not good. I'm wondering if that's probably my commentary as opposed to yours, Grant. Not ideal. Not really what you look for.
I think sometimes that is the case with live streaming in general. Sometimes it's the user based, because we had this on our first stream where some people were saying that and others were saying no, it's all synced. So maybe try refreshing your stream if that's the case for you. And if if that doesn't fix it and we get a lot more complaints, we'll try to do something about it. But I imagine
let us know if
I imagine it'll be okay.
But yeah, folks, let us know if you keep seeing that for sure. We want it to be synced if possible, like a fabulous swim routine.
Thank you.
It's not weird that I said that, obviously.
No, it's actually good.
All right, so we have a potential interesting setup here. Finally, Alex opening the button. I don't see how Kobe Bryant's probably just going to 3-bet this a lot, right? Doesn't have to, but
No, folds. So, wow. That is a surprising fold. You can flat there. You're deep enough to flat. Maybe afraid of Semeninkus shoving just because of stack depth considerations, but still.
I mean, it's really weird to fold a hand that good against the button open, as opposed to just like you said, you can just call if you don't want to 3-bet. It's okay. You can also 3-bet and get 4-bet and fold. It's okay too. But a calling is fine. That's a strange. We've seen a few really, really tight folds early. I'm surprised. That one, the ace deuce earlier in the big blind.
I'm not actually that surprised. Oh, we got aces here for Kobe Bryant. Because we see this in late stage World Series of Poker events sometimes. This is in many cases the biggest spot of these players' lives.
Or at least it's about to be, right?
Yes.
If they can just get a little bit further down and they want the easy decision. Like Kobe Bryant here is going to have an easy decision, especially because Semeninkus is potentially going to 3-bet this.
Wow.
It's pretty reasonable to shove.
That was not.
Whoa!
It was an auspicious time for a fold.
Amazing.
It's not what
that is an amazing. Well, it just gets through. Apparently, this is just a really, really good time to be raising pre-flop.
That is often true in poker tournaments when the average stack is something like 30 big blinds. If you have the stack to do it.
Yes.
Kobe Bryant gonna go. I mean, Kobe Bryant seems very comfortable being the aggressor, but not super comfortable in a spot where they had to decide whether to 3-bet or flat or fold with King Jack in the small blind against the button open. So it feels like there's a comfort zone thing here for Kobe Bryant. Enjoys being the initial aggressor.
Also, taking like smaller risks as opposed to bigger risks potentially.
Yeah.
Not like you're saying, not totally shocking, but at the same point, often who dares wins. So we'll see.
We do get a flat.
I pay. Why pay?
FX Open's got to flat this, right? Gesundheit, Jonathan.
Yes.
Hey, 2 pair for
Thank you.
Kobe Bryant. That's a pretty good flop, but unlikely to get too much action unless FX Open gets sticky.
Yeah. That's the kind of board, too, where Kobe thinks probably that they're going to get action from I pay, why play a fair amount of the time, right?
Yeah.
Like King Queen, King Jack, Ace 10, Ace Jack.
Ace X suited type hands that didn't want to 3-bet because of the moment.
Could all be in there, but I mean, it's kind of a big bet, too. I guess it's a wettish board. No action.
Yeah, I mean...
Could have had 2 scratch-off tickets. Would have been the same.
Well, it felt good to flop that well, at least, I'm sure. And now the blinds are up.
Yeah.
Mehdi Mihel asks, what's happening on this table? Is it possible several of these players don't have a good score from earlier and that the moment is too big for them? That is possible, but let's give them a little credit. We have not seen a ton of really playable hands. You can't really be forcing it. Now, there were a couple surprising folds, like this all-in players fold of Ace-9, which turned out to be a really good time to fold against aces, and Kobe Bryant's fold of King Jack. Those were slightly surprising folds, but overall, I'd say the players' opening ranges at least are, if anything, wider than average opening ranges.
The opening ranges are, but the response to the opening ranges have been very tight.
It's been a passive response,
which I think is.
This is the ultimate reason to be the aggressor late in poker tournaments. If that is the case, be the aggressor. Especially even when you're the 3-better, right? Because the opening ranges are wide.
Yeah. I mean, and I think sometimes it can be easy for players to be in a tournament and you think like, oh, these guys have all been here before. They've all played. I can't just run them over. But like, this is a 1K online event. I mean, this is like kind of big time, like these are all like these players to be playing in this. A lot of them have at least a fair amount of experience, but still they're just going to play really careful a lot. And that's just something to keep in mind. What a flop, by the way, for Alex 52.
Yeah, and gets the C-bet. This is a curious spot of whether Alex should call or raise. We see the call. There is showdown value, and as we see, that showdown value is good, and now it's even better with 2 pair. What do you think
What a
about calling
turn.
versus raising on that flop?
I think I like a call better just because that board is really much more river kill me's than Alex 52's ultimately.
Wow.
So I think the call is good. Amazing, but
what a run out for
probably
Alex
not going to get
52.
any action.
Yeah, unfortunate that his opponent has nothing, but not how he expected to make a big hand.
Yeah, I don't hate the check on the river, sort of just saying like, please, don't bet. I'm scared. I mean, nothing was going to work, but that was the shot.
Maybe a min bet. Maybe that would have induced some sort of response.
I mean, the straight draws and the flush draws miss, so maybe you get called sometimes there, but not too often. Anyway, Alex is not just the chip leader at this table, the chip leader in the whole tournament, the whole dang tournament right now.
That must be a satisfying feeling. When you're the chip leader in the tournament or close to it, and you just open like 6 hands out of 9, and they mostly either get through or you see bet the flop and you win, and all of a sudden you have like 20% more chips even than you did before. That's such a good feeling.
I love that. It is. It's really good.
Yeah.
Also, when you have so many chips that you lose a pot or two, and it doesn't even really, you don't even really notice because there's so many chips and just doesn't change anything.
No, every pot that I lose is like a needle in my heart. It's brutal. It's brutality.
But you take things very personally, in fairness. Very personally.
I mean, they were out of chocolate donuts at Dunkin' Donuts, and now there's not a Dunkin' Donuts there anymore.
When you came back and you were like, they didn't want to give me a chocolate donut, and I had to find out that they didn't have any.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you frame things in a very particular way for yourself. Anyway,
that's how
so still 11 players left.
Everybody makes it through life their own way. Yeah, we've been at 11 for quite a while now.
Yeah, it's a little surprising, especially with there's a bunch of short-ish stacks. You would think that, but I guess this goes back to that tight sort of response play, or to the initial opens that we're seeing. And also now that we're shorthanded, we're less likely to get cooler type spots. But soon we'll be at a true final table, playing for all the money and the bracelet.
Jake Schindler was one of the chip leaders in this event for quite a while, and that would have been cool if he was here, but he's not. Just want to say that.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. Jake Schindler is one of your favorite players.
I think he's one of the most terrifying players as far as what the plays he makes. He's one of those guys I really don't want to play against.
Wow. I guess these players must not feel the same way since Jake is out and they're still in.
Well, they're clearly better than him, and
you.
Yeah, obviously, and we have a pair against a pair.
Action. Yeah, we might finally get some post flop bets and calls here. It's definitely time for Alex to start betting.
If I decides to fold, if Alex bets, that shows the level of tightness that we're talking about. When there was no flop bet.
Fold. You cannot fold I play.
Folded and was correct to fold in that instance.
Yeah.
Certainly very tight.
Surprising.
With no flop bet.
Really surprising. Well, we have a pair of sixes and a pair of queens, button and small blind, so we're very likely to see some legit action.
The sixes just move in. I guess it's because of the stacks and the small and big blind. It's reasonable with their stacks.
Yeah. Totally. But River Kilby's going to be pretty sad when he loses this, 18.
I play is not going to fold.
Right,
okay. I play took a moment before putting it in with the queens there.
I hope it was just to try to get FX open to call maybe a little bit light.
Queen and a 6 on the flop.
One out. We've seen it happen so many times in this World Series, the crazy river.
That's not it.
But nope, not this time. Ace Jack would have beat everybody. Well, that seems fair. Finally got a cooler type setup.
Kevin Mathers is letting us know that Kobe Bryant has over 1.6 million in earnings. So Kobe down here might be a legit pro who has a lot of success on the tournament scene.
Awesome. Thanks, Kev Math.
Yeah, appreciate that.
I guess that we have seen Kobe Bryant, except for that King Jack hand, being pretty darn aggressive pre-flop too.
Yeah.
Again, just for the initial raise, but still, it's definitely been working for Kobe Bryant. It's such a dance, Grant. Well, we got Queen Jack and 2 9s here. Queen Jack could just shove
Nope.
this.
Queen Jack
Said
out of
folds.
there.
Wow. Not even a min raise with six-handed. Interesting.
I kind of get it with 2 million under the gun at 160K big blind. It makes a little bit of sense to me. Like any action is bad action, obviously, at that point.
Yeah, but you're often going to get it through. We've seen that at this table. I mean, it wouldn't have worked this time, but like so often it's going to get through.
Expect to see a call out of Kobe at this depth.
I mean, no one's been making these calls so far, but we'll see.
Fold. Wow.
Nope. Yeah.
So players are just very worried about post flopping a weakish pair and feeling obligated to continue and things like that. They don't want to lose their position in the field, it seems.
Yeah, I think we're really seeing ICM, the ICM pressure already being exerted, which means it's probably just going to get turned up as the money gets really serious. You know, we get down to like the final 8, 7, 6 players, and the money gets super real.
Well, is River Kill Me waiting for somebody at the other table to bust, perhaps? Is that part of this tanking with 10-4 off?
Seems unlikely, but what do I know? Maybe. I guess, you know, if you're short, you might as well use all your time. Try and ladder up that extra, 6K?
Yeah,
5K.
I think that's a bit of what's going on, you know? Like,
yeah, I think you're right.
Every extra second saves you from that future cooler in case the other player gets the cooler first at the other table, you know?
I mean, if you're going to pick up ace jack and go out next hand, it'd be really nice to have $6,000 extra in your pocket to do it just because you waited a little bit. So it's a reasonable strategy for sure.
It's
mid-dime hell. Yeah.
It's not a strategy that makes poker fun, but it is a reasonable strategy.
Yeah. So here we go. So we're going to have Kobe. Oh, well, never mind. With the shove, everyone's just going to fold. If we had a normal open from FX, we might have seen Kobe do something. Probably not, I guess, with the stack size anyway that FX Open has. Mid-dime hell says, I play, Y pay is probably I play, you pay, by the way. Asked if this is a live final table. It's actually a 30-minute delay. So someone from this final table very well may be watching. You can wave to them from here if you really want to. They can see you. Don't worry. We have cameras set up and
everywhere.
Every computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to worry.
Now, what I noticed in the last tournament we did, which was that $2,500 event that Kristen Bicknell won, at the final table they switched from timed levels to amounts of hands per level, which I think is a great feature. It makes it so you can't get in trouble in any way by excessive tanking by somebody who takes a long time when you're the short stack and then the blinds go up and it hurts you. Meanwhile, we have aces.
Yeah. We may have something really interesting forming here if Kobe Bryant doesn't Kobe Bryant folded. I was thinking if Kobe Bryant 3-bet, we're going to have aces against 4-5 suited all in. So you think Alex is going to have to find this call probably.
I don't think so. I think it's too many chips. 1.7 million. The tightness with which these players have been playing, King 10 of Hearts is not playing well against that range. Not at all.
You're right. No one's 3-betting. You're right. I just feel like as Alex having so many chips and a playable hand that I thought Alex was going to call, but everyone's been too tight.
Yeah, I don't think that's a call. Not in this spot. I mean, there's a lot of spots that's not a call in. That's a lot for King 10. It's not like you're getting 2 to 1.
It's 12 blinds. You're almost getting 2 to 1. I think if it's going to really hurt your stack, that's one thing, but it wasn't going to. Anyway, Alex did make the fold. We're down to 10, by the way. As you see, we're now 5-handed at both tables. We lost one of our players as they got moved. And we are 1 away from the World Series of Poker, event 52 final table.
Pretty good flop for Kobe here with the backdoor straight and flush draws along with middle pair. The 5s, so close. That's a pretty standard check back combo to choose with the Jack 10, and it turns well. iPlay might decide to go for some equity denial here. It's possible. See a small bet.
Although it's hard to think of what hands is Kobe checking back that aren't a pair on this flop. There's almost nothing.
Maybe some ace queen, ace jack type hands potentially with showdown because of the showdown value.
Usually gonna bet that though, but maybe you're right. Maybe a few of those. Let's see. I mean, we're gonna learn right now if iPlay. I'm gonna guess iPlay is just gonna fold though.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yep.
was not expecting any chips to go in after Kobe bet, but maybe iPlay would have just done a little equity denial there. Hey, we got eights, ace queen, and ace 10. I assume the ace 10 is not going to get an opportunity to enter the pot.
I mean, ace queen just has to go with this hand.
Well,
there we go.
That seems like they're going with it.
That's a good sign.
Yeah,
it really does. All right. Well, Alex definitely not calling. Probably wasn't calling the open shove anyway.
It would certainly be surprising.
Well, we know that River Kill Me is in a lot of trouble because there's only one ace left in the deck.
Well, there's always double paired boards that are both above the 8.
That is true. Let's see if we've done any jinxing here.
Not so far.
Not yet.
Still not.
One card, no spades either for anybody. The slow squeeze, the best kind. It's the king of spades, and we are down to 9.
The final table is here. The one-time emoji thing is not 100% effective, apparently.
It's weird. Krista Bignell did it very effectively.
Yeah, it was actually quite effective for her.
And she won her bracelet.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? All right, now we wait till the other table finishes their hand, and then we will be, here we go. Final table. Now, we've seen a few different ways that they arrange the final table. One time we saw it where it was just randomly assigned, and the other time the players had a draft, basically, for their seats.
Here's the draft. We're doing the draft here, yeah.
Going first basically has no value.
Is this the second final table we've done of Alex Stasiak being here? I feel like that name seems familiar.
I am not aware that is. I'm not to my knowledge is all I can say.
I think it might be. I think it is the second final table we've done for Dejan Kalaj, whatever the rest of the letters are. They're cut off there. And KevMath says he won the 11-11 COVID. So we did do that. We did do that final table.
That's the one. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So
Craig Leonard says hello. Hello, Craig Leonard.
This is a good summer for Alec. That's impressive.
Hey, Vinkus Tomasukis is a EPT guy too. Vinkus has definitely been on the EPT, and I recognize that name for sure.
And KevMath says
we got
Dejan Kalajurjevic. And I believe we did do another, at least commentary on Dejan. It might have been pre-final table, but we definitely did some commentary. I remember the avatar and the name.
I remember the name Dejan pretty clearly too, yeah.
And then Alec already having a bracelet this summer. So definitely some good summers going around here. What do you give the odds of this thing sticking in poker or becoming a thing where they do the choose your seat at the final table thing?
I give it no. I don't think it's going to stick. It's weird, you know. Dejan was third in the opener. Yeah, that sounds right. Short the whole time and waiting, and finally busting.
The opener, by the way, the $100 tournament with 30,000 players.
Oh, that tournament. Wow, Dejan's here now? That's impressive.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is going to stick. I don't think this is like the first several choices for the players, like what you're going to sit at, isn't that interesting because you know everyone else can move around anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how valuable it really is. I think probably just going randomly is faster and it's probably better. Greg Leonard asks, why are they choosing seats instead of a random draw? They just decided to do that for a number of the events at this series.
Is moving not allowed at World Series of Poker final tables? It's not really allowed in any tournament ever. Your seat is assigned in tournaments. In cash games, of course, moving is allowed, but in tournaments, you are never allowed to choose your seat.
It's possible he's making a joke, but it's possible he's actually asking. So we're handling all versions of it.
Makes sense if you've only ever played. If you've only ever played cash, makes sense.
That would be great though in a tournament to be like, seat change.
I don't like this Michael Mizrachi guy being on my left, so can I just change seats?
So Alec, bracelet winner, also the short stack here, but has a good hand. And wow, if Dejan wants to move Alec in, which is not unreasonable It's going to be a great spot for Alec.
And that is what happened. Gonna need to dodge the 6.
That's it. Hearts, maybe?
Not anymore. Just a 6.
Don't do it to him. It's not fair. Okay, good.
I mean, Alec already won a bracelet. Anything's fair at this point that happens to Alec.
That's not how it works, bro. Karma. Think about karma one time in your life. So we have a bunch of reasonable hands, but no monsters here. But a bunch of playable hands anyway. We're going to see how tight people play in early position.
I see what Mike is saying. He's saying on all GG final tables, they do that. And since nobody actually picked to move, he's wondering if it's not the case for bracelet events. It is the case. We've seen it before. It's just that nobody picked to move this time, like KevMath said.
Yeah.
Which is like an honor code thing. Once a few people don't move, everybody's like, I guess it's the honorable thing to not move.
I hope that's not what's going on. You should take advantage of all of the rules when you're playing for $300,000 is what I say. Well, this could be interesting. Dejan could just move in here for 25 lines effective. Be interesting to see if Dejan wants to play power poker or...
Yep. Power poker. You know, Federico, I feel like I remember an Argentinian flag in the name Federico also, but maybe I'm just going too far with it.
But you are a huge soccer fan, in fairness to you. You watch the World Cup. You watch YouTube videos of the World Cup constantly, so...
Is that supposed to be a diss? And it's weird because it's not true. Like, I'm confused.
Why is that a diss? How would that be a diss? The fact that you think it might be a diss is what's offensive. Federico Molina.
I think the World Cup is wonderful, actually. I enjoy watching it quite a bit.
See? There you go. So how could it be a diss? Anyway, we're back.
We've been here the whole time, Jonathan. Just in different mindscapes.
There's no ad break? We weren't on the ad just talking to each other? Oh, okay. That's fine, too.
No ad breaks for us.
This feels like a slam bam race here for Thomas.
Yep.
Is it going to happen?
A huge raise, yeah. It's an all-in.
Wow.
So that
feels like too much of a raise.
It does. I mean, that's 23 blinds effective, and if you get called, you are crushed. I mean, maybe Federico could have.
You
tens.
could be flipping.
Yeah, maybe tens or nines.
Ace 9, Ace 9, Ace 10, but that's about it. Like, it is not. That seems like too much risk for not enough reward, and a 3.5x raise is gonna get through almost the same amount of the time.
It'll have a very similar result.
Anyway, yeah. So how about Dejan, who finished third in the $100 event where people were playing unbelievably carefully at the final table? Understandably, they were playing for huge amounts of money in a $100 buy-in, $250,000 for first place. Dejan now the chip leader of this event, where there's a lot. I guess the top end money is similar, but so many less people to get through. The skill level is clearly much higher. So we have bracelet winners and some other known players here for sure. KevMath knows who everyone is and their pendants. It's like tattooed to his his wrist.
KevMath knows who.
For the rest of us, humans.
He probably knows who every player is, regardless of if he knows guys with 4K hendons. Probably he's just like, oh yeah, that guy.
That's his job.
He's the best.
His job is to know that and to tweet. More than any humans ever tweeted. That's what he does, right? It's very impressive. Anyway, Jimmy Guerrero is going to be hard pressed to call, and Vinkus takes it down.
Is Vinkus Tomasukis the guy who entered the EPT when he was 19 or something and just made an immediate splash 2 years ago or so, and we were kind of surmising that he had been crushing online before he could play live?
That might be it. It's hard to say right now because I'm watching this and don't have a good.
But I feel like that's the name.
Besides that, yeah. I mean, his name is we've done breakdowns of that guy on our YouTube channel. Yeah. All right, here we go. Look at this. First of all, Kunal calls flats with the king 10 off, but gets the flop.
Pretty darn good flop. I wonder if this is going to be a check fold. That would be.
I mean,
it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me at this point right now.
just have to call once, Thomas. You can't just fold for 450,000. It's 2 blinds.
You know, every time you're begging the players,
you got to the nuts here.
Every time you're begging the players not to make a passive decision, they make the passive decision and they're correct.
Yeah, it is pretty much true. It's true. If I was in this tournament getting these hands, I would have been long out.
Hey, look at this. We have a cooler in the making here. Federico with 10s just going to open it. And luckily for Federico, Dennis Paganov does not have many chips.
Yeah. It's only 7 blinds. It's going to be a snap call. And I assume we're going to see ace-10 get folded out here once Dennis shoves. If this was like a super high roller, Jimmy Guerrero might have gone with that ace-10, but here we are.
Backdoor straight draw for the 10s, and it might come in if a 9 comes. 9 or a 10.
9 or a 10 now. It's not. It's nice when they outs triple.
It's a 4.
And we have our first casualty of the final table.
No, we don't.
We do not have our first casualty. Final thing. You know, the thing is, casualties isn't necessarily death.
Oh,
you know?
so
it's just like
that's
true.
Hurt, it's like Federico's got a little arm stab, stab in the arm.
Exactly. He's wounded. He's not at full strength.
Yeah.
You know, people use that word wrong. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
Here's another spot where I think it's mandatory to call, but everyone's been folding 100% of the time. And once again, Dejan would be right to fold. In theory, I mean, not
Dejan raises.
Whoa! Look at this.
Looks like Dejan is going to put the moves on. Maybe feeling a little strong after that deep run in the opener.
Yeah, having already won a bunch of money, knowing that the real money's up top and playing aggressive right now.
Whoa! We get the call from Kunal. That is surprising, and the king high flop.
And the kind of cooler flop. It's going to chop a lot, but still, Grant, cooler flop.
There's a lot of chops here. A lot. Any 3 or anything higher than a 10.
I just want the turn to be 7 or lower, so that way we have a shot at like a really fun spot.
These hands aren't strong enough for the spot to be that fun, right? It is a 6.
That's it. Oh, baby. This is going to really suck for Dejan.
Well, I don't think Dejan's going to bet again, right? At this point, maybe to deny diamond equity, but he does block diamonds. He checks.
Yeah.
So
it's probably better to check.
Going into the showdown.
Kunal's going to bet, though, I assume, right?
It's close.
Kunal doesn't have to bet, though.
No, he checks.
Yeah, that's a reasonable check. And the 9 is going to play.
Yeah.
How about that?
I actually like both checks.
A bet is going to go in
here.
Bit. Yeah, me too. Me too. Keep the pot small. Don't get in trouble. Bluff catch. And surely someone's going to bet and the other guy's going to call.
Right? I think Dejan is the better. I was kind of expecting Kunal to be the better, but we do get the bet and valued himself. I thought it might go check for Dejan and then Kunal betting, trying to get value from pocket 10s or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, here we go again. We got Jackson Ace King lined up.
Gonna be a race.
Yeah, the Ace King's way too short to do anything but shove over what Jimmy Guerrero's open is going to be. We can see that. Vinkis Tomasuk is sitting there with Queen Jack suited, thinking, "All right, here I finally get to play a hand." And nope, you're going to get completely shut out of this pot, buddy.
Vinkis actually had Queen Jack suited the last time there was a big all-in confrontation with the aces against the 10s, and just never gets to play the Queen Jack suited. Poor Vinkis.
Poor Vinkis. You think he pulls like a Darth Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith? You know, no.
Yes.
He probably does that.
Yeah, no, I think so.
Jimmy Guerrero, has a call. And here we go.
Ace high flop.
There will be a casualty.
Ace high flop. So it won't be a true casualty the way that people use it, unless there's a jack on the river.
Yeah, okay. Well,
it's not a jack.
No, it's not a jack. It's a club of smallness.
A club of smallness.
Which is it's a technical term that we use in the poker industry, Grant.
It's also a really cool club in downtown Chicago where they only serve 4-ounce and smaller drinks. Careful. They only serve 4-ounce and smaller drinks. You be careful.
I was worried about where you're going with that.
Dude, you're the guy that people need to worry about. Anyway, Serious Isness says, I love that we get WSOP with good commentary. You guys should find a way to do this every year. Thank you. And we agree.
Yeah, we'd like to keep doing it.
Nice for Gigi. Gigi gave us this opportunity. We appreciate it. We think it's been really fun.
Yeah.
Get into that live WSOP commentary scene. A little tougher, but, we might make some inroads, see what we can do.
Just got to elbow some of the people in front of us, in the head. That'll take care of it, Just accidental elbows. oh my God, Jamie Kerstead, are you okay? You know?
And Dejan is
So,
playing power poker again.
yeah, it's cool to see. It's cool to see. Well, Kunal with the sixes and all the chips.
And I think this
And
is going to be
is
all in
Alec
for
going to
Alec.
shove this? Probably.
No, Alec
Is early
folds.
position open. Alec wants to ladder up, or is just trying to play ICM correctly. Maybe I should say.
Yeah, I think it is possible that is an ICM correct fold. Although it hurts to say that.
I will say that. So in our last I think the Kristen Bicknell. So last week's commentary, one of our viewers is Max Young, who's won I think 6 or 7 WSOP circuit events. Is one of the better tournament players, in America, I would say. Has a very strong hand in, so on and so forth. So he texted me and said, everyone's making all these tight folds everyone's making at this final table are just ICM correct. Like, you're just supposed to fold all these hands. And I personally feel like, if you want to win, you 3-bet more and, you make everyone else fold. But he makes a good point, and he certainly has all the experience in these spots.
Yeah,
so
it might be slightly more plus EV to do the. By the way, we have quite a hand developing here.
Hello.
Kunal's going to have to put in basically a reshove, I think.
Yeah. I think, I doubt Kunal's just going to call here, because if Dejan, you don't want to be shoved on with the hand this good by the one other guy. The one guy who can really hurt you, right? So we're probably just going to see a re-raise. There, yeah. That's a committing raise.
Bad news for Federico.
Spot.
2 spades on the flop,
Not
even.
a good flop.
It's going to be tough.
Still alive.
This might be a casualty.
Got to be paint. No spade, and it's got to be paint.
It's the ace.
Top pair. Top pair. It's pretty good. Not good enough.
Did you see Dejan gave the good game before the river came? That was rude.
Dude, Dejan knows what he's doing. That's how you do it. That's how you appease the poker gods. You gotta push it a little bit karmatically.
Karmatically, yeah.
Karmatically. So Jimmy Guerrero, I think Jimmy Guerrero is not going to call here.
I don't think so
too
either.
much for Jimmy Guerrero's stack, and based on what we've seen so far, the way people have been playing, and this is probably a correct fold.
I would agree.
All that ICM stuff. If this was a button shove or a small blind shove, that'd be different.
Really thinking it through, putting it through the old calculators.
Yeah, run that solver.
Makes the call.
Oh, wow, makes the call. I mean, Snapshove says you're supposed to call there.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And
but
now
still,
regretting it deeply.
Yeah. He's still got 3 outs once. Need some no spots. There's some spots, though.
Yep.
Too many spots.
And the bracelet winner from earlier this year gets the double up. And
double up.
Yeah, 20 blinds is a lot different than 10. You have really a lot more maneuverability. You can open this hand instead of shoving it if you want to, which Alec does.
Jimmy Guerrero now the short stack, playing 12 blinds. It's interesting that we've got Kunal with so many more chips than anyone else. Kunal's got twice as many chips as Dejan, who's the number 2 in chips.
Yeah.
See if Kunal tries to wield that mighty axe.
So far, we haven't seen that. We saw a pretty loose call against Dejan earlier with the King-9 suited. That was not an aggressive action, but
surprising.
But that hand did end up working out quite well for Kunal.
For sure.
Clear button shove here for Jimmy.
And poor Vincus, every time he has a very pretty big suited connector type hand, he just is not allowed to play it. He just has to fold it 100% of the time.
I mean, you're allowed
James
to.
James horrendous call.
Talking about the ace-3, I assume.
For sure he is. I'm surprised he called there.
I'm pretty sure all of the software says it's good, but
yeah, me too. But situationally, it's way nicer to have 20 blinds than 10 blinds, and you're almost never far ahead in that spot, right?
Yeah, and there's elements other
it's
than...
It's really hard to be far ahead.
There's elements other than pure ICM, like what the money means to you. Like, if first place is life-changing to you and the next couple places don't change your life at all, that's a calculation that maybe you should take into account and be more aggressive and be more willing to call it off if that's true. Because, like, these spots are super close anyway. So if ICM barely doesn't like it, but it gives you a much better chance to win the whole thing, and that matters a lot, I think that's reasonable. By the way, we're going to have an all-in.
Well, at least his cards are live. That's what I'm going to say.
Not so live anymore.
Well, it's gonna need a.
Well, that's a good card. That's good-ish.
Yeah, it gives him some outs, but
3 outer.
Take a 9 of not diamonds.
And we've got the good game again from Dejan.
Nope, it's not gonna. That works every time. 60% of the time, the good game works every time. By Dejan, and we are. Kunal wants everyone to know that he would have made a flush.
Yep, I am. I am bettered by that information. I feel good now that I know Kunal would have had the 7 high flush.
And Vinkus Tomasoukas steps up a little bit now.
Yeah, if this is the Vinkus that I think it is, and I only know one Vinkus,
it is.
Then this guy's got some chops, knows what to do.
Oh, yeah.
Double
it's not
gutter
impossible.
here.
Vinkus may just be the best player at the table.
Might be, yeah.
Love that check back by Vinkus on that board.
And as we see, might have gotten check raised by Alec with the double gutter.
Oh, I would think so. Big bet by Alec on the turn and folds out the best hand. Nice job. That sizing really did the trick there.
It did. Is Alec just going to move in? Yeah. We see this small to big a lot where people will move in much bigger quantities than from other parts of the table.
This goes to sort of the ICM situation a little bit. By the way, we have another potential setup hand here. Jesse may play. We got Alec with 9s and Thomas with ace-queen suited. Jesse puts in the first raise. I'm curious to see if ace-queen's going to be able to even get their chips in.
Oh, no. Jesse just folds. It is an awkward stack for ace-9, but you just kind of expect a shove.
Yeah, 14 blinds. You could just go with it.
But the same thing might happen with Dejan being the opener instead.
Will Thomas... I mean, it's basically shove or fold here for Thomas, right?
Absolutely. It's not a comfortable spot. You're very likely to be ahead of Alex 3-bet on the button against the cutoff, but Thomas does make the fold.
There hasn't been that many pre-flop 3-bets either that we've seen. So I can understand why Thomas just wants to stay out of the way of what feels like a tight range. And, I assume they would have gotten it in there. I assume Alec can't fold 9s there. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Alec can fold 9s.
Yeah, I don't know. We've seen stranger things.
I mean, when the guy cold 4-bets all in this spot, he's going to have a really strong range, right?
Yeah, ace-queen's kind of the bottom of what you'd expect the range to be.
I think so. So James T is bringing up that Alec won a bracelet and Dejan has a 3rd place. We do know that, actually, because Kedmath was letting us know, but we didn't know otherwise, and we're glad you mentioned it.
Yeah, thank you for the information.
So
we always appreciate it.
We wouldn't have known. Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have a pretty good run out so far here for Kunal, and there's not much Alec can do with his range versus Kunal's range on that board.
It's interesting. Kunal bet small. Everyone else has been betting really big on those spots, the checkbacks and then leading the turn out of position. Everyone else has been going big, and Kunal went a 3rd pot there.
Dennis Preganov
just
folding.
Just move in.
Could easily move in, yeah. Oh, just limps, though. That is an interesting strategy.
Jesse now. Jesse's got a very reasonable move in, but also chooses to check.
Kunal going to bet the gut shot and backdoor, and it's going to work out. Yeah, it's a bit surprising to not see Kunal move in with, getting called and losing is not such a bad result, and you're going to get so many folds. And King 5 is doing okay against the calling range. Like, you have live cards a lot of the time.
I mean, also Jesse, once Kunal completes, not moving in there with 12 blinds or 13 blinds effective, as the short stack is a little surprising too. Just that seems like a good opportunity to pick up free chips a lot of the time. Maybe not always, but a lot of the time.
See Thomas folding the Queen Jack there. Thomas has been maybe the tightest player so far. Would have had top pair. Is Dejan going to take a shot?
Interesting check back by Kunal. Just checks back on a board that's definitely better for Kunal than for Dejan. But wins with the late C bet anyway.
It's not that much better for Kunal, though. I mean,
Really?
There's a lot of continues by Dijon on that board, on a queen 10
Okay,
board
but
with two hearts.
Dijon called in from this big blind.
Yeah.
So Dijon should be and they're both pretty deep. So Dijon should be pretty wide there.
Yeah.
Anyway, the delayed C worked just fine.
Yeah, delayed C bet. That was like the coolest thing to do in 2014. Everybody loved it so much. Hey, Alec making a little blind versus blind move with the deuce 9.
I love it.
It's going to work immediately. It would be cool, actually, to see somebody win their second bracelet of a summer. And we did commentary on both. Therefore, we are owed a percentage of the winnings. And Dennis going to move in here.
I would love to be owed a percentage of the winnings.
Yeah.
Well, can we do anything to like make sure Alec wins? What do we have to do?
I don't think we have any power of that. And look at this. Jesse does go with the ace jack. We have a flip.
It's a flip, and Jesse's going for the win. He's not trying to ladder up there. And there's the jack. Oh, wow.
Not going to happen.
Flops the jack, but had the backdoor hearts, but Jesse's out.
Big double up for Dennis Paganov with the eights. Not quite a double up, but feels like it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And we'll go on a little break here.
Sounds good. So let's reset the situation. We're suddenly down to 6 players. The money's getting like legit real. Kunal with still the overwhelming chip lead at 20 million.
Yeah.
Next highest is Dijon. You got just a group of people around 6 and 7 million, and Thomas is the shorty at 4. What would your strategy be as Kunal at this point, Grant, with the really big stack?
I think it should be to pedal to the metal. We've seen it work so many times. The last final table we did featuring Kristen Bicknell, the person who ended up placing second place, Bellarmino, he had the pedal to the metal the whole time, and it was super effective. We just saw him crushing the table, especially against the second biggest stack, who must still have nightmares about it, because I feel like literally every time the second biggest stack opened, which was the same player for the whole time mostly, Bellarmino was putting in a 3-bet with whatever he had. And there was not much you could do as the second biggest stack because Bellarmino had a massive chip lead. So I think Kunal should look to really pressure the medium stacks. That's proven time and time again to be an effective strategy in big tournament spots. And I think it's just like a must if you want to optimize your big stack strategy at a final table like this.
As the money is getting super real for these players, and I imagine even guys who've won a bracelet, even people who've got $1 million, in winnings, things like that, still, although that's Kobe Bryant, he's gone now. But if anyone else has winning 300K in one spot or nearly 300K is huge, and often is going to be, if not your biggest score, a top 2 or 3 score of your life for a lot of people, and certainly for a bunch of these guys who are here right now. So it just is going to, I think, I'm just curious to see if someone's going to go for it like you're talking about, the way we saw in that last event, or someone's just going to keep pushing, or if there's going to be a lot of sitting back and letting other people bust, waiting for good spots, all the things people do.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Taking a look at the feed
$220,000. $220,000 still left to win,
Yeah. Looking at this feed now, we see the next payout is $57,000. And as we know, first place is a lot more than that. So,
yeah, $273 and the WSOP Europe package ticket, which has got to be worth, I don't know, let's make something up.
15K?
Another 20K. Yeah, I think 15K, let's go with, sure.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's sort of it's awesome to have won $57,000. But at the same point, if you can last 2 more spots, you double that money, and 3 more spots, you triple that money. I mean, it's kind of incredible, but so much of the work in poker tournaments is what happens right here and now at the end. Even though you have to outlast 2,000 people to get here. Really, the last 6 is where all the money's made, in terms of your yearly stuff and your hourly and everything, and your legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before on streams, but your ability to play shorthanded, especially with tournament style shorthanded play and understanding ICM and all the different types of pressure you can put on people, is so incredibly important for your bottom line if you're going to be a MTT grinder, because that is where all the money is made, like you're pointing out, Jonathan. If you can just make the money all the time but never go deep, you're not going to be that successful of a tournament player. The rake is going to kill you over time. You have to have a big score here and there. And certainly there is an element of variance that applies to that. But if you don't have your 3-handed, 4-handed, 5-handed tournament games on point, it really hurts your chances to make the truly big money because of the way tournament payouts are structured.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many people, I think, find themselves playing for the cash, like the min cash, or like doing pretty well instead of really angling for a top 3 finish, or even a top 2 finish. And that's fine. Like, everyone's allowed to have their own priorities. And for some people, that's an important score. And so I can understand making certain folds at certain times. But in the end, it's all about winning the big money, and when you have the opportunity to, because you just don't get that many chances to ultimately, right? Like, how often are you at a World Series of Poker final table? It's just hard to do. Phil Hellmuth's been in a lot of them, I guess, but like, a bunch of those were before anyone was playing, and there were like 30 people in an event too. I mean, a bunch of them weren't, but still, it's just hard to find yourself in this spot. So trying to do everything you can to take advantage of it feels really important.
Yeah, it's tough to, if you haven't been in a spot like this before or multiple times, I'm sure it's tough to apply everything that you think you can apply easily once you're here, when that money is staring you in the face. And you're just thinking, I know I said I would 3-bet in this spot and risk my tournament because I think it's the right thing to do, but God, it would suck to go out right now. It would really, really hurt,
That's right. Everybody has a plan until they're punched in the face, right?
Yep.
And when you're in a really big final table and there's big money on the line, it's like getting punched in the face all the time. Like, someone 3-bets you, it's sort of like getting punched in the face if you don't have like queens or better, basically. It doesn't feel good, and it's really easy to abandon the really good plans that you have, I think. So this is why I think so many players like work really hard on this aspect of their game, to like steel themselves for these spots.
Yeah.
And it means once in a while, you flame out really badly too. Really, really badly. But on the whole, I think you win more money. Well, we're going to see as we get back to it. We're coming off a break. Will someone go for the gusto?
Let's find out.
Got a lot of similar stacks here. A lot of similar size stacks. Good spot here for Dijon. The jacks.
You'd expect a 3-bet most of the time.
Seems hard to imagine there wouldn't be a 3-bet. But I've been wrong a lot at this fight, and I'm wrong again.
You're consistently wrong, and hey, this is quite a flop for Kunal.
Whoa.
Expect to see one
Cannot
call.
go folding this. Cannot go folding this yet.
Well, Jonathan.
Too nitty.
Oh, there is the call.
All right.
10's a decent card for the jacks.
Will Kunal continue to barrel?
No. Kunal checks. I think Dijon checks back. I kind of expected an equity denial bet. And Kunal just gave up. But he did hit the 8. Maybe it's about hitting the 8 more than anything.
Wow. And yeah, I think so. Dijon, though, does not value bet the river, really surprisingly, because Kunal really could have had a 10 there. Like, Kunal played it like an ace-10 kind of a hand or a queen-10 kind of a hand, checking when the 10 came.
Yeah. Or maybe 2 9s.
Surprised we didn't see a... So Dijon is going to play. Dijon for a little while opened it up. We saw that 3-bet with king 8, but I guess does not want to get cute at all against Kunal.
Got bit a little bit with that 3-bet.
Yeah.
Might be
affecting.
This
was jacks. This is the luxury.
The luxury hand?
Luxurious hand. Like that's what they call it in Monaco.
It's like you just got comped at the win. It's luxury.
So Dennis Peganov, we haven't seen him play too many hands, and just has to sadly fold the 8-7 suited.
Yep.
That sucks.
Blinds
doesn't
go
have
up.
to fold, but chooses to.
Might have a confrontation between Thomas and Kunal here.
Thomas could just shove this. Could also open. But I'm going to guess Thomas is more likely to shove than to open it based on the 26 blind shove from the big blind that time.
That makes sense. Going to take a little time and make sure. I do wonder sometimes with online poker if these players are running things through programs when they have time bank left. That's kind of a it's a flaw of online poker that can't be solved, that, players have the ability to do that type of stuff a little bit.
I mean, this is pretty easy though. This is just snap shove, which will just pop it. Like Thomas is known for a while. If it's like $11 or something.
Right. What I'm saying is when you're playing live at the World Series of Poker, you're not allowed to take out your phone while you have cards to make a decision, and I prefer that. And Thomas does fold, by the way.
I don't even know what to say. He's a short stack. He's got ace 10 in the cutoff and just throws it away. I'm shocked.
Well, gets to see Kunal's hand.
Every time I would want someone to play aggressively, it never would have been good. Look at this. We got another potential confrontation right here. 3 ways, potentially, even. Depending on how this plays out.
Thomas surely is going to do something with this hand.
Definitely going to play this. I'm hoping Thomas doesn't just shove it, but Thomas might shove it. We'll see.
That'll put Dijon in a
Thomas
spot.
Shoves. I think Dijon still has to call with ace queen, though, don't you?
Yeah, and it's basically a shove. It's not quite a shove, but this is what we saw Kristen Bicknell doing at her final table. The cheeky little almost shove thing.
Yeah.
Makes everybody like you.
It's not crazy. It's 15 blinds. It's okay to do. But ace king's such a powerful hand. You could give some folks a chance to shove back on you,
And
but I think Dijon's going to, that's reasonable.
Thomas is in a great spot.
Dijon might be about to be the short stack at this table, by the way.
Wow. Yeah, that turned around quick.
Opportunities emerge.
Is that patented?
No chop. No chop. No, I saw that from James Hardigan and Dave Staples. And
Dave Staple?
Dave Staples.
James Hardigan and Dave Staple. Yeah, I love those guys.
What's Dave's first name?
Now I can't remember.
See? I don't know.
What did you do?
It's gone.
Tip of the tongue phenomenon is real.
Yeah. Anyway, I know James Hardigan.
You do.
Joe Stapleton. It's
Joe Stapleton.
He came back.
Joseph Stapleton.
I think we're allowed to say chop opportunities emerge as an homage.
You could say it's an homage.
I'm going to say it's an homage.
Other people might see it as stealing. Theft.
Well, Vince.
That's not theft.
Apparently, Sammy Hagar can go 55. Vince. The race car driver's not slowing down.
I wasn't ready to do Vince. Hey, look at this. It's quads.
My gosh.
It is quads.
And top pair. And top pair for Thomas. I expect we're going to see a check back, but a min bet is not terrible here.
Everybody checks quads because they have never played them before and they don't know what to do.
Oh, wow. Good job, Dennis. I love that Dennis bet this.
Me too.
Thomas has to call once, right?
Absolutely.
Has to call once.
Better hope for no ace on the turn.
Oh, my gosh. Well, then at least you got an out. Well, no longer. Thomas now drawing truly dead.
I would expect a check back now from Dennis to try to let flush draws catch up. Because flush draws mostly won't be able to call turn bets unless they're very small on a paired board.
You could go really small, though. You could bet like 420K or something and sort of force the flush draws and the aces to call. But just,
as expected.
So now Thomas has got it. Thomas is like, this is great, though. Yeah, Thomas is either going to bluff with hearts or think that ace is almost always good here, right?
I expect a check. I expect a check from Thomas and then probably a call on small enough sizing, but if it's too big, I think Thomas might fold.
It's going to have to be pretty big.
Oh, Thomas is going with the blocker bet.
Blocker. Well, it ain't going to be blocked for very long because Dennis has quads. Thomas is just going to probably just fold to whatever size, I would think, right? Even a click back, Thomas just going to have to fold this hand.
So this blocker bet is going to work quite effectively for Thomas in saving Thomas a little bit of money, I think. However, I'm not sure if it's a great time for a blocker bet in general. I think part of a blocker bet has to be that sometimes you can get called by a worse hand. And I don't know if I see that happening. I don't know if I see Dennis calling with kings.
If Dennis has kings, like hearts missed, it's not completely impossible with the cheapness of the bet.
I guess it's not impossible, but it still feels like a possibility that kings fold, and I think that's problematic.
Well, I mean, but what are you going to do? Kings are just going to check it back anyway. I mean, if you check.
But that's not
the only way
really.
to get value out of
but that's
kings
just one. That's just one hand. I'm trying to say the overall efficacy of the bet is not that you would want for a typical blocker bet.
I think you're right. No, actually, I think sizing it up a little more probably is better because then it looks more like you could have missed hearts.
I think check calling is the best line. That's my preferred line there on the river. Let Dennis take a shot.
I just feel like it's going to go check a lot. Anyway, here's the shove with tens, and this hand will be over. And Thomas gets some chips back right away. That's nice, at least. How about Dennis just flopping quads like a boss?
It's a good feeling at a World Series of Poker final table, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. It always feels good to flop quads. Just completely bulletproof. I mean, I know quads isn't always the nuts in the end, but usually it is, guys.
It's
right?
tough to beat quads.
I did flop a royal flush once in a cash game, and I felt pretty comfortable about my spot.
That's fair. You just don't want to see another one of those cards that's already on the board come out or that's in your hand. You know, like another king of spades.
Yeah. Right. No, actually, I flopped a royal flush against middle set, and then they turned quads against me.
Wow.
So that was pretty good.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to get
sweet.
another,
right, so here
another 3-bet probably out of Thomas.
Yeah, I would think so. And probably just going to work to take everything down. Thomas only with 30 blinds. So you can definitely just go with jacks here. Nothing to think about. I'm sure Alec is just going to fold here.
Yeah. Seems very likely.
Look at the price, though. If only they were deeper. They're not. Mike Frederick, by the way, says thumbs up on the facial hair, Grant.
Mike Frederick means it. I'll tell you that much. Alex Stasiak taking it down.
He's Stasiaking alive. Like John Travolta. Hey, we got eights against eights potentially.
Oh, that's going to be boring.
Do you think so? Is there an emoticon that they can choose that's you play that garbage? Because, you know, that's what you're supposed to.
Man, the one of the great things about not having played live poker for 5 months was not having to hear that type of crap. And you just brought it right back into my home. And it makes me very upset.
Good. Be emotional. Be upset.
I am emotional. I am upset. You know, Jonathan.
So this is...
Okay, let's talk about the hand.
Look at this.
The ace is going to win
Vinkus is,
most of the time.
Vinkus is drawing... I guess Vinkus and Dennis are really drawing to the same backdoor straight, and that's it.
Yep. Oh, Vinkus could make a straight flush.
Vinkus not... Oh, you're right. If Vinkus makes a straight flush, he's going to get pizzade by Alex. I'll just say that. And Vinkus bets. I guess trying to deny equity here. Alec going to have to call once. I'm really surprised Vinkus didn't 3-bet that. Wow, and Alec never folding now.
Yeah, that's fold. If Vinkus had turn bluffs, I don't think this is a card that Vinkus is going to bluff on. Any board pair is pretty bad to try to bluff out a slightly better hand.
The 8 of clubs is such a bad card for Vinkus to have in his hand.
Whoa, Vinkus is doing it though.
Draws.
He's going for it.
Betting small. I think he's just trying to get to a super cheap river. My guess is he's checking back, although he does have an interesting...
He's got the
straight flush blocker.
He's got the super blocker.
He does. Is he really going to go for it?
I mean, what do you do if you're Alec if Vinkus moves you in here?
I mean, I don't know. Probably you fold. You figure you can't beat anything. You lose to clubs and you lose to a better ace.
And full houses, which clearly are in Vinkus' range.
And pocket sevens, pocket nine.
Vinkus does not go for it. It's tough to pull that trigger, but I would have loved to see what would have happened.
Alec had the aces clubs in his hand, which in theory could give you a reason to call there, but, you know.
Hey, Dennis has aces again.
I think it would have worked.
Whoa, Dennis just moves in for well over 20 blinds with aces.
Well, he's balancing his move-in range. I'll give him that, but wow.
Yeah, that's a...
Why, Dennis? Why?
Huge shove.
You know what they say? There's 3 ways to play pocket aces, and they're all wrong.
So the thing that makes me the most upset in the world, more than true tragedy, is the tropes that you hear at a poker room.
Yeah.
Just like that. That you play that garbage, the 3 ways to play jacks, learning from the same player that told you last week that they hate pocket jacks. Again, it kills me inside, Jonathan. And you're bringing it back. It's the one good thing about not playing live poker, and you're taking it away from me.
I feel like you're really blowing this up. I got to tell you. I say one thing, and then you spend 2 minutes on it. That's you.
It's a trigger. It's a trigger for me.
So we got gut shots for both players, backdoor for Alec, and the initiative. Good board to bet on, too.
Probably just going to end things.
Ronaldo has enough chips. Kunal has enough chips to make a play if Kunal wants to make a play at this board.
Does make the call. Would like it better if there was one heart on the board. At least some more escape rope.
Will Alec double barrel here? The double barrel's got to get through. You're supposed to when you turn that 9. That 9 is a great card.
The half pot bet should really end things. Would be surprised. Now, if Kunal raises, that is a super strong move.
Yeah, for sure.
Calls.
Kunal can't raise. Oh, what is happening?
Wow.
Kunal is super sticky and then just checks. Just checks 6 high.
That is interesting.
Alec at 7 high and has the best hand.
Alec checks back and wins.
Up and wins.
I cannot believe that.
Gosh. Alec checks back 7 high and is now second in chips on this table.
Alec, I'm sure,
gosh.
Alec must be in complete shock that he won that hand. What just happened?
I can't believe that went that way. How did Kunal never take an aggressive action but get to the river anyway? Wow.
Alec just says, what the fuck? I mean.
That's a fair question, Alec. That's amazing. Shocking. That's a shocking win. 7 high like a boss, says Mike Frederick. But he didn't even have to bluff it. He didn't even have to bluff it.
No bluff.
Amazing.
Just check back and win.
Whoa. And I think Kunal might be on tilt.
Yeah.
Just flatted 4-8 suited.
Matthew Johnson says going for river check raise. That's possible. Although we have seen Kunal really not take aggressive actions. Just let the other players do the betting a lot of the time.
Yeah. I would be surprised, but who knows? Kunal, for example, not betting that when everyone checks to him. It's another great spot to bet when they check.
If Alec checks and Kunal checks again, that would be indicative that Kunal is not willing to put in aggressive actions. You got to bet, yeah.
You got all the chips.
All right, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
This is going to work. This is definitely going to work.
Absolutely. Like, what's Alec going to do?
No, it didn't work, but it did because now we're chopping.
Oh. No. Oh, yeah, we are chopping. One bet will do it, but how can you bet this? He found a way.
He found
a way to bluff it.
This
Kunal, it's so hard to get through.
This Kunal plays differently. It's a different
really
type.
Unusual decisions. Wow. All right, good. It's going to keep us on our toes.
Yeah. That
all
5-6 hand. I'm devastated by that.
Hand. Honestly,
the 5-6 hand. I've been destroyed.
It is hard to imagine that it went the way it did. Well, Dejan is going to shove this.
Is Kunal going to call?
I think Kunal's going to call.
I do too. I think Kunal's in the mood to call.
Yeah, Kunal was folding these kinds of hands earlier, but I think Kunal is now thinking, my mistake is, not putting chips in. Let's see if we're right.
I smell a call.
Okay.
He does it.
Completely afford it, and there it is. Yep. 70% to 30%. Here we go.
Backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw. But there's the backdoor flush.
Oh, that always hurts. The scary turn card.
It's a 9.
Is it red?
It's a 9. It's safe.
The only card that improves Kunal's hand that does not make him a winner.
Yep.
Well, the only rank of card, I should say, of course. Big double up for Dejan. Back to 7 million.
And Dennis with the fold with the ace-5 out of the big blind.
Yeah. I got to tell you, these World Series of Final Table, they are really fun to watch with the cards up,
World Series of
so
Final
many surprising
Table.
Decisions.
It's all final tables all the time. Even when there's 700 tables left, it's the final table.
All the World Series is the best final tables, Who's going to have the best final tables in the world? Well, here's a bit of an action flop.
Action-ish, action-esque, perhaps.
I mean, Thomas can't go anywhere. Overs, gut shot, and backdoor clubs.
Checks it back, though.
And checks it. Wow.
Thomas has been very passive. Thomas and Kunal, similar strategies overall with the passivity, but Thomas not playing his wide range of hands in general.
Yeah. Can't just go folding this right here.
It is a big bet. And Thomas does go folding.
It is, and indeed he does. Wow.
How many times have you said that over the course of our streaming? And every time they fold. And you know what? Every time, every time they're right.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that was right. He had overs in a gutter to the nuts. I mean, he was behind.
He was not
behind,
getting the correct price
he wasn't crushed.
against the hand that he was against. He was not getting the correct price. That is what I mean by right.
Okay, that's fair. But that was close. With implied odds, it was probably fine, though, is what I would argue. Anyway, Vinkus.
Gonna vink it
all
up.
in. Yeah. Welcome to the lair of the Thomasuchus. Is that reasonable to say?
Mike Frederick.
Mike Frederick is taking shots.
Throwing truth bombs.
I wonder why Grant goes deeper in tournaments than Jonathan.
That's called a truth bomb.
Grant would have bet that flop with King Queen just like I would have. I'm sure of it.
I would have found a way to check raise the flop.
In position.
Yeah. Well, Mike Frederick, you're getting 2 holiday cards from me this year and 0 from Jonathan.
Yeah. So on average, though, Poker Guys cards.
Yeah.
Bails everyone out. Mr. BP stuff. It's messing me up. I want to say
British
BP.
Petroleum, big British Petroleum fan.
Do you have everyone's histories? No. We know about a few of these players for sure. We know about Dejan, who finished 3rd in the opener, $100 opener. We know Alec won a bracelet in the COVID one for everyone, or every relief for everyone, I should say.
We got a
That's
little bit
about it. So if you know other stuff,
a little bit of a confrontation possible here. Although Thomas and Dennis have both been rather passive, so maybe it won't go well. Thomas doing the big shove thing. Dennis, of course, has to call it. It's a flip. It really kind of sucks that it's a flip for Dennis.
I know. Dennis, it's really unlucky for Dennis.
Interesting flop.
Wow.
9 or an ace for the win.
Or death. Win or death.
It is not a win. That's a queen, it looks like.
Yeah. Without the set, that would have been the winner, but instead, it's demise time. A true casualty of the battle.
Demise time. So that was like 27 bigs. I think, now I'm not necessarily saying it was a huge mistake, but if you open to a more normal size, like 3.5x, you can fold to a shove with Queen Jack and avoid that situation entirely.
Or you can limp, get raised, and then shove yourself, and then have fold equity with it, where you make actually more chips,
right.
Instead of. So yeah, I think there's probably ways to get more chips with that hand in that spot. Although sometimes you're just gonna lose chips no matter how you played in that time. Anyway, right? You're thinking that either gonna have to fold or you're gonna lose the all in. But all right, Dennis. Now Dennis was suddenly really chipping up here, strongly in second place.
Gonna 3-bet the ace
little
jack.
Bit feeling good.
So
expect this to get through.
That's interesting. It makes me wonder if Dennis is actually quite a good player, having like a huge level of passiveness until chipping up, and now immediately, well, I guess the ace-8 fold, maybe not, but immediately went into an aggression right away when he would not be at risk. So maybe he is really leveraging stacks.
James Bondarchuk asks, do you guys ever say F it and just start throwing chips around? I can't speak for Grant, but I know the answer for him too, which is no.
Yeah.
Basically no.
No.
We don't do that kind of ever. We were professional poker players for years and years and years and years and years until the pandemic. And now I just sit at home. But good flop for Alec. So no, we don't especially not at final table World Series. We might be very aggressive, might try and put other people to the decisions, but it's not just throwing chips around.
Well, everything's turning up Alec so far in this hand.
So far, but a queen on the river would be devastation.
Good point.
Thank you.
A 10 would be true devastation, though.
Yeah, a 10 would be rough. Is Dejan really just going to fold here?
I mean, Alec did call out a small blind. Now is betting. What's Alec's range? I guess it includes some spade draws and some diamond draws. Not too many pure bluffs.
In fact, no, I agree with that. It's most since we have a diamond as Dejan too. I find some fold. Spades feel the most likely, and it was spades, but it was a whole lot more than just spades. Of course.
Another hand Jonathan Levy would have called with and been way, way wrong.
I would have hit the queen on the river, and it would have
okay.
been glorious.
Hey, we got a little bit of a flop here with a 5 for Kunal and a diamond draw for Alec.
6 of diamonds on the turn for the whole thing. Well,
surprising check back from Alec. This doesn't seem like
really?
Much of a range advantage board for Kunal. It's pretty range neutral, but Alec does get there on the river.
Well, I guess he wants to be able to have some flush draws in his range even when he checks the flop. He does now.
Which is cool.
I don't think he's going to get called anyway, though. Thing is, Kunal, we've already seen, is going to check call with some pretty bad hands and not play back at you. So I think betting that flop makes sense with King High. You can just value bet it, honestly, when you've got the diamonds as well, even if you don't get there.
Maybe Alec thought he had literally no fold equity with King 10 because Kunal called with 5-6 twice in that other hand.
Sure, but even so, like with the King and the 10 and the diamonds, and maybe King High is good, which we know is possible against Kunal specifically. Like you could bet and maybe extract some chips.
We've seen Kunal choose bigger opening sizing than his opponents, betting 600K for his opens, and everybody else is minning or essentially minning as the blinds go up. And as I alluded to before, we are doing the hands per level rather than timed levels. As you see in the top left there, it says level 32 in 30 hands. So we're doing 30 hands per level. Which I love. I love that. That's something that everybody should adopt for final tables.
Yeah, it's good. I agree. Maybe one day. Maybe. Yeah, Kunal's still 2.5xing here.
Which is not a leak in any way. It's just different.
No. It's possible at this table it's not necessary, based on how foldy people seem to be.
Yeah.
But Kunal's got all the chips, and if you can make it a little harder for people to say, yes and put chips in the pot and just fold instead, can't be that bad, especially when it's still only 2.5x.
This actually might be one of those spots where 2.5x makes a difference against 2x if the big blind calls with a lot of hands based on stack sizes. It might actually be one of those spots.
I mean, it's sort of interesting now. We've got Vinkus with effectively 13 blinds, Dijon with like 17 blinds or so, and then 3 bigger stacks. So could be some interesting pressure that Kunal can really put, and Dennis even can put on some of the smaller stacks.
Vinkus moves in here, and Dijon is definitely snap shove supposed to call, but doesn't love it. Makes the call.
I didn't expect him to call.
Good call.
That's great. It is a good call. I just wouldn't have thought I guess he's short enough.
Just a 5 for a top.
Or Vinkus is gone. We haven't seen any Miracle Rivers yet.
That looks like
we're going to see no.
Three-ish type card. Yeah, it's a 3.
And Vinkus, sadly, must be gone. Must be leaving us. He is the weakest link.
Oh, that's a pretty fresh reference. Fresh reference by Jonathan Levy.
Thank you. I can name the host of the weakest link.
What is the host's name?
I believe it's Ann Robinson. And she was mean.
Do you think she still says that a lot? Because she's like, I'm that lady. Remember me? Same time as the Backstreet Boys, basically?
If she's walking around England and, going to get what do they call things? Like fish and chips.
Yeah, they call it someone looks at her that was the British pronunciation, fish and chips.
I wasn't trying to do an accent. I'm sure every day of her life, someone looks at her, points at her, and says, "You are the weakest link," right? And it's really annoying, but she's rich, so it's okay.
I don't know if that's true anymore. I don't think people really remember that show, or like I have a vague avatar of what that woman looks like, but I would not be able to pick her out of a lineup if you showed me.
It was on like for 2 seasons in the United States, though. In England, it was on forever. So it was like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
You think a lot of people could pick her out of a lineup?
In England, yes.
You're just full of it today.
Do you think you could pick Regis Philbin out of a lineup?
Absolutely.
Of like NBA players. Okay, so it's like the same thing.
Okay.
All right, here we go. We could see something happen.
Very strange joke. Okay, we're gonna move on. Dennis probably gonna 3-bet.
Yeah. We're deep enough that a shove feels like, I guess it's not too big. Some players will do this, like it's less than 30 blinds effective, but yeah. I don't think Alec can fold king queen here on the button. Do you?
It's a strange spot. Stack to pot ratio is problematic. He does make the call, but it's got like a 2.5 to 1 stack to pot ratio, or 1.5 to 1.
I mean, it's just if you flop top pair, you're just going with it. And even if you don't flop top pair, you may have to go with it. Here's a spot where you clearly can fold, but like, overs in a straight draw, you probably have to go with it. It just gets weird if it's like ace queen X.
It's a pretty big bet.
I think that's a good call.
Pretty big bet from Dennis there on the flop.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of big sizing for sure.
Hey, look at this. Kunal with a light 3-bet. I think this might be a fold.
Seeing it.
This might be a fold. Not the right implied odds with 5s there. And we have not seen Kunal 3-bet light yet.
Agreed.
Oh, Alec might be in a little trouble here.
Alec's in a lot of trouble. Alec's getting it in against Dennis right here.
Yeah, I don't see any other way.
Yeah, 20 blinds. Just got to go with it. And there's no way Dennis can fold this. Dennis? Don't make me a liar again, Dennis. I can't take it anymore.
Well, at least
I've
this
been wrong
time,
about every single... There we go.
At least this time, it would have been an incorrect fold. Hey, it's a jack on the flop.
Well, wait for the 10.
I'm waiting for it. Or the queen.
Or an ace. Or an ace. Or a queen. A lot of outs, considering.
But not this time.
Oof.
And Alec will have to just be happy with his 109K, which I'm sure... Oh, wait, Alec wins.
What are you talking about? Alec won the hand.
I got the hands mixed up in my head. Hey, good job, Alec.
Yeah. That's not weird at all.
Hey, you did the same thing earlier.
And the Chicago Bulls lose.
You did the same thing earlier.
Who cares what I did? We're talking about you right now. Anyway, Alec now in second place. And Alec with probably the most experience of any of these people, right? Having already won a bracelet.
Well, Dejan
a lot of money.
Dejan did get third in the opener.
It's true, but that was also a different kind of final table, as we know, right? Like everyone had like 6 blinds at the end of the final table. Alex was a 1K buy-in similar to this. It was $1,111, but still. And the play was definitely more sophisticated. So and Alec sort of sealed the deal, won more money. I got to think Alec is feeling pretty confident after that double up.
Must just feel like you're unstoppable if you're Alec and you've already won a bracelet and you're going to get at least 109K out of this 1K event.
Oh, man, to go on a run.
Having a good pandemic. Not many people can say they are, but Alex Stasiak is having a good pandemic.
Sure. Well, at least a good few weeks recently, but yeah.
Two pair
Mr.
for Alec.
Stuff says, yeah, nothing though for Dejan.
Mr. BP stuff.
It's
says, not important to know who has what. It doesn't matter who has what. Not for the World Series of Poker.
This is the warm-up. But, you make a fair point. We should probably know who wins the hand. That's on Grant, though. I did it right.
Except that other time when you did.
That's the past. History's for fools. All right, pocket threes for Dejan.
Folds. Just folds the threes. Gonna try to look for a better
really
spot.
Understand. You're the short stack. You've got a pair. You've got 22 blinds, 23 blinds. You don't have to shove it, but it seems crazy not to open it. But I guess this is the strategy that kind of worked for Dejan at the last final table too. Dejan just sort of hung in there and laddered up all the way up to third. I remember that. And Dejan was short the entire way. Not that that's been the case this time.
No.
But
it's been different.
If that's sort of Dejan's thinking maybe he can outlast Dennis and significantly ladder up. Another 50K.
Finally, everybody's got garbage. I feel like it's been a while since everybody had garbage, and it's refreshing.
So as you're four-handed here and you're Kunal, are you just going to be raising essentially every hand?
I think if I were Kunal right now, I would raise every hand until somebody gave me a reason not to.
Yeah, me too. And a reason not to is not you got 3-bet once, right? You got to get 3-bet multiple times, probably.
Right. It has to happen a few times. 2 pair here for Alec, but unlikely to get any action. Just trying to get a bet from Dennis.
Dennis, though, just not interested. Not interested in bluffing at any point. Good timing, Dennis.
Dennis just folds the king 7 off, small to big. I mean, I understand there's ICM considerations, but that just feels really, really tight. Really tight.
That is some serious capitulation right there. I think you just move him in, but Kunal goes for the smaller sizing. That works too.
It does.
You can get shoved on, of course, by some weak hands when you do that, but
you definitely have to fold to a shove when you size it to 750.
Yeah. You move in, and Dejan has ace deuce. He may fold, ace 5. He may just find folds there with the 20 blind stack. Anyway, we're going to find out what he does with an ace right here. Feels like a setup to shove. Like there it is. Great.
And
Mike Frederick says Dennis and Dejan trying to outlast each other. Seems like it.
Pay jump here is over 40K. That could weigh on you.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Kunal didn't open the ace 4 there. Do you think that the getting 3-bet last hand cowed Kunal?
I actually do. I think this happens a lot. Wow, trips for Alec. Probably not going to get any action, though. I think, people open a lot, and then they get 3-bet once, and they think someone's taking a stand against them instead of they just had a good enough hand to 3-bet, and that's a common thing. One of the things, Zimnan Ziard, who won an EPT back in the day, he's just like a relentless opener no matter how many times he gets 3-bet, and I think that really works in his favor. We should see some action here.
Yeah, we've already got a bet and a call on the flop. Kunal's hand can't stand up to too much aggression, and Alec is going for further value.
Back.
Yeah, I think most players will check that back, but I think he wants to charge all of the straight and flush draws that are out there.
Yeah, not crazy. Kunal also, again, we know Kunal's going to make some calls that are, super light.
We're basing that on
Alec.
Mostly that one hand, but yeah, there is the call with the queen.
That one hand is enough.
That's
enough information, isn't it?
Alec immediately checks back the river, which makes sense. Tough to get value from worse at that point.
Yeah, I wonder if Alec could have gotten value there against the queen.
Yeah, you just worry that you're valuing yourself.
Yeah, sure. Alec, though, now almost even in chips. Very close now to Kunal after that last hand. Well, both players catch a piece. Kunal also not raising pre with the king. Interesting.
They both pick up gutters on the turn to go with their pairs.
Well, if someone makes 2 pair, it's going to get a little bit sad up in here.
This is a pot-sized bet, and Dejan might just fold here.
I think Dejan probably will fold here.
Oh, he does not.
Oh,
he calls.
Wow. In fairness to Dejan, what is Kunal supposed to have? He wouldn't raise an ace pre when Dejan has 20 blinds?
And that's good follow through by Dejan to make that call on the turn to follow your heart, which is what poker's all about.
Sure thing. Follow your heart. It's a normal thing to say too, so that's what I like about it.
Yeah. Got what could be described as a blind versus blind cooler, perhaps.
Pair well, 5 on the turn is what makes it a cooler.
Yes. But it's a jack.
The 5 of not spades really is what makes it a cooler. We need the 5 of hearts on the river, but we did not get it. And probably just going to get to showdown quickly. Nobody wants to lose any chips here.
Man, Alex Stasiak in position has a real shot at a second bracelet.
Yeah, this is weird. Alec, got it in with ace jack against ace queen when he was pretty short.
Mm-hmm.
Flopped the jack, held against the gut shot Broadway draw of Dennis, and it's kind of been smooth sailing for Alec for a while now.
Kunal has adjusted his sizing. As you saw, he min raised that time. The blinds have gone up. Dijon deciding whether or not to open with 21 bigs and king 8 suited in the cutoff. He does.
It feels like an open. I like the open. Now, Dennis should be shoving, but I don't know if Dennis will be shoving.
Dennis will be shoving.
There it is.
Will be getting it
I like
through.
it. Yeah. Good job. I like it. Fight back. Don't let that dude push you around. That dude.
Dijon, what's the matter? You don't like his avatar? That's a Pokemon.
Well, you know I have issues with Pokemon. It's a childhood thing. Although that at least is a darker Pokemon. It's the happy Pokemon that really freak me out.
Those are the ones you got to worry about, man. All right, back to 2.5x. I wonder what that was. A little blip by Kunal where he min-raised. Maybe a misclick of some type.
Yeah, that's my best guess. Anyway, Alec definitely going to at least...
He
raises.
raises.
Call, but no, he's going for the 3-bet.
I like
Kunal's
this.
shown a propensity to call right here in this spot. We saw him do it with King 9 suited earlier.
We saw it one time only,
with
though.
a worse hand. With a worse hand, though.
True. And he does make the call.
Yep, and he does call.
He flops a gut shot.
Yep.
We know he likes to call with gut shots.
This would be
but he does fold.
But he lets it go. I don't know. You're probably supposed to call once. Alec usually misses that board.
He miracle hit it, but yeah,
anyway.
You're right.
That said, Alec is now the chip leader.
Yeah.
Alec has done it. He's gone from worst to first, from 0 to hero.
You got any more?
And he's able to, he's got to be able to taste that second bracelet. It's metallic. It's a little ashy, but still.
Do you have any more analogies for worst to first and 0 to hero? Do you have more?
Sure. I could come up with some stuff.
Okay.
Keanu to Daniel Day-Lewis.
Kevin Mathers says,
I don't mind getting it.
Outhouse to the penthouse. How did you not get that one? Kevin Mathers got it.
Ooh. Yeah. Kevin Mathers, right? That was an easy one. I'm on the spot here, man.
So is Kevin Mathers.
Not the same. Anyway, yeah, I wish I thought of that. It's all like very shallow. It's this deep. That's it. It's like we get this far and that's all. Scott says, "Hey guys, glad the stream is back up." Thanks, Scott. We're glad it is too. We're gonna be doing a lot more in the next few weeks. World Series events, multiple times a week from here on out, basically for the next at least 3 weeks.
Coach to first class. That's a good one too from Inland Champ.
Ooh, that is good.
Kevin Hart to the Rock. That's pretty good too. Mr. BP stuff. Hey, we got a queen heavy board here after Dijon makes the limp call and turns the spade to go with his queen.
This would be a devastating river. He's got 5s and spades and really could lead right here. Doesn't have to, but really could lead. Checks again.
Time for Alec to start betting for a little value, having raised pre-flop and checked the flop.
Yeah, it's time. Definitely going to get a call. Can't imagine Dijon would raise this.
That would be surprising.
Scott Chisholm says, "Here comes the flush." Oh, man, if it does. It does come. Scott Chisholm knows all.
But Dijon, of course, checked and did not get any value because it's a really bad card for Alec. He's not going to bet it, unfortunately, for Dijon.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons to bet the turn yourself as Dijon. That way, if you get there on the river, you aren't either checking and it's just going to check back, or you're not out of flow if you suddenly donk it, right? Well, Dennis has really kind of been left behind a little by the other 3 players. It's the clear short stack now.
Yeah. Alec folding the ace-8 out of the small blind, which I think is fine. I think that's a good thing to take note of. Like, it's okay to fold out of the small blind with a hand that doesn't play that well when you have kind of an awkward stack depth, and it's kind of a hand that a lot of people will 3-bet, like ace-8 off. You don't really have to 3-bet every time that the button opens when you have ace-8 off in the small blind.
Yeah.
Look at Mike Frederick's comment.
Yeah, I saw it.
I'd like
real
you to
nice,
say
Mike. Real nice.
That's 3 holiday cards from me. and -1 from Jonathan. Ooh, this could be
You
trouble.
saw that Grant got. Oh boy, can't even make fun of Mike Frederick anymore. We got to focus.
Oh well, now Frederick's saying something foolish, but that's okay.
Yeah. So Dijon just calls. Alex gotta think he's got the best hand almost always here. It's so hard not to have the best hand.
I think it's easier to get value on the river than the turn though. But Alec is gonna bet. Deny equity to 5-6, 5-7 hands like that. Any hand with a
I would
deuce in
expect it
or 5.
if it's a bricky river, like an 8 of clubs or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Alec went for value.
Ooh, now we're chopping.
Oh wow. Alex been really, dodging the raindrops a little bit here.
It's a good pandemic to be Alex Stasiak. I'm going to be saying that forever.
So Dennis probably going to shove this. We saw him shove aces earlier for a lot more blinds. Yeah.
Kunal probably not supposed to call with 2 players behind for this size.
No. Not with 5s. 8s he can call.
Alec also with a close decision does make the call.
Wow. Surprising. Dennis has not been shoving much at all.
Ooh, and the ace on the flop.
Poor Dennis. Devastating. Alec has just been, everything's been coming up Alex Stasiak. Unless this river's a queen. It is not. My, oh my. We are down to 3. Alex Stasiak now has a significant chip lead on the pack. He's got about half the chips in play. He's already won a bracelet this time around. Everything is lining up for him.
Must be a great feeling. And we have a limp from
Interesting
Dijon.
limp. Wow.
3-5 flops quite well.
Alex Stasiak once again.
Winning the
All right,
pandemic.
I think everyone's playing for second place. It's just time to play for second place.
Are you calling your Stasiak right now?
I'm calling my shot. I mean, it's pretty easy. He's the chip leader. He's got all the experience comparatively. He's got all the confidence. He's hotter than a $3 pistol.
Like if a baseball player hits a home run, you just say something like, "Man, he really Stasiak'd that one." Or if,
that's going to catch on for sure.
If somebody
feel that
after years and years of trying finally woos the love of their life and they begin a relationship, you say, "Hey, really Stasiak'd that one." You know what I'm saying? Alex Stasiak is known.
Yeah,
for
no.
that.
It's already. I see. There's a hashtag on Twitter. It's trending.
Yeah.
Wow. And Dijon calls with the Queen 5 suited here.
It's not
suited.
Queen
5 offsuit.
They're even different colors to make it easy for you.
I just can't believe it that happened. I guess Dijon is the short stack and feels like, look at Kunal trying to set up Dijon. It is not working.
It is not.
Dijon just not falling for that. Everyone's suited, Grant.
It's beautiful to know.
It's like a corporate meeting. Alec is no Stan Stasiak for the old school wrestling fans out there, says Kevin Mathers. Yeah, I don't know how many people are going to get that reference. I'm probably older than almost everyone watching this, and I don't get it. But I guess I wasn't a big wrestling fan, except for Superfly.
Meanwhile, Alec wields the range advantage to take the pot away from Kunal.
Also with the best hand.
Was there a 4 on there? I don't think there was.
Yeah, there was.
Oh. Okay.
4 clubs.
I missed it.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Mr. BP Stuff asked if we made it up to Leavenworth. I've been to Leavenworth. It's in Washington. It's a lovely town.
Did you have fudge?
No, I had beer. Hey, Jack high flop for Kunal.
Dijon looking more and more like he might be, the first runner-up again. Second runner-up again. First runner-up. I'm not sure how that works. Which it would be. First runner-up does that mean you're the first? I guess, yeah, that's second place, right? First runner-up.
I think so. I've always been a bit confused by that way of saying it.
It's a weird thing to say. Yeah, your first runner-up, then second runner-up, I guess, would be third place. That makes sense.
The Queen 8 outflops the King Queen on this board. and turns a spade draw after checking back. What a joy.
Kunal really playing a lot of pot control. A lot. Well, induced the bluff this time.
Will Alec pull the trigger here? I don't think it's going to work against Kunal if he does.
I'd be surprised. You have to size it up significantly and doesn't try.
Kunal checks it back. Going to take his winnings.
I think something that these players are noticing, like Dijon seems to have noticed it for sure, is when Kunal checks post-flop after having had the initiative, Kunal usually has a hand. Like,
that's true for a lot of players.
Yep, it is. Although, sometimes it's board-based, for a lot of players, like,
yeah.
I'm going to check a lot of board stuff regardless of my holdings. But, like, it feels like Kunal is mostly checking based on hand strength and mostly checking when Kunal has a pretty good hand, like a top pair hand or second pair hand. Just interesting to note. And it seems like Dijon did not, like, take a swing on, like, bluffing, like, about an orbit and a half ago when they were blind versus blind that time. Gotta call this, Dijon. Are you gonna rebet?
Maybe. I mean, Dijon did limp call Queen 5 suited just a couple orbits ago, so it would be quite surprising to not see a call here. And not a good flop for Dijon. Might lose a bet.
Should lose a bet. Can't just go folding this hand for 2 blinds. You could hit an ace on the turn, Grant.
Well,
so Alec's been checking back turns pretty consistently.
And wrong prediction yet again from the Lev.
Actually, it wasn't a prediction. I was just talking about history.
Everybody knows the implication.
I was just talking about what he's done. I was wondering what he was going to do. I am surprised he bet the queen, though, I will say. Especially with the ace of clubs in his hand.
Yeah, not too many queens in Dijon's range, at least, but it is a bit surprising.
Except queen jack, which would be a problem. Everyone has an ace here. Dijon could just ship it right here. Very reasonable.
Kunal has been
the
opening
move, right? As the short stack?
He does fold, though.
As the short stack, too?
Yeah. Not much of a flop
seems
here.
Like that's... No. So let's see. See, Kunal bets when it didn't have anything, but anytime Kunal has anything at all, it feels like Kunal just checks it back on the flop.
Maybe not super strong hands. Well, Dijon might be cruising for a bruising in this hand.
Yeah. This could be it. I don't know. Dijon could just like open small and fold, too. We'll see. Yeah, there it is.
He did start with under 20 bigs, though. He might go with it anyway. Yeah,
he might. We'll see right now.
It would not surprise me at all.
There's no laddering for Dijon, right? He's the significant short stack. It's time to gamble. This is a pretty good hand. Alec hasn't really been 3-betting Dijon at all. But this is a pretty good hand 3 ways. I think you go with it.
It's a different story if Kunal's sitting there with the same stack as Dijon or smaller. Maybe more considerations go in. But as it stands, like you were alluding to, I think it is a move in, which he does. We get the easy call from Alec, and we're going to need some luck for Dijon here.
Yeah.
And he gets it. Dijon, very likely to double up as he blocks the 10. I guess a deuce will chop it at this point.
Deuce for the chop.
It is an 8.
Went out to win for us to chop, but no good. And once again, we've seen the dominated hand get the win. We've seen that numerous times at this final table and all in spots.
Life is sick.
3 playable hands here. Poker, man. That's poker. You like when people say that's poker, Grant?
I love it when people say that's poker.
That's poker. They say that to mean anything that happens. Ever. Good, bad, indifferent. That's poker.
2 flush draws. I also love when people say 2 flush draws.
I do like he's Dijon fire.
That is
pretty good. That's Mike Frederick. Oh, he retracted it.
It's because he misspelled Dijon.
That was good.
It's because he misspelled Dijon.
Yeah, you're right.
He misspelled it again. he said it again and he misspelled it again. Anyway, Dijon.
Oh, whatever.
Does have ace queen here. And he just moves in.
Too many chips to ship, but he ships anyway.
That is a big shove.
A lot of chips. It's like 36 blinds.
Very big.
Wow. Hard to get action from worse with ace queen, you know? You might fold out ace jack for that big a shove. Now look at these stack sizes, Grant. It's anybody's race. Except
Wow.
Stasiak.
Dijon limp calls the 10-6 suited. He's really unwilling to give up that small blind.
He did it with queen 5 off. It's not shocking he's going to do a 10-6, right? I mean,
well,
this is a strategy.
That particular scenario was queen 5 suited, at least, not queen 5 off. It was queen 5 off a different time where he did not.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't in the small blind that time. He didn't limp call. Meanwhile, got 2 gut shots.
Gut shots. Gut shots for everyone. Easy call here for Kunal. I guess you could raise it too, but a call makes sense. Double gutter now for Kunal. Feels like a straightforward bet, but Kunal has not been making this bet.
I think he's doing it. No, he didn't. All right.
See?
Well, is Alec going to take a shot?
Alec,
he gives up. He's just given up.
See, the problem is, I guess Alec thinks he's up against a 7 or an 8 that's just not folding, but like this is exactly the problem, is that Kunal can check it back and win with a hand like this. And we know, and Alex should know that Kunal's capable of that because we've already seen it happen before, you know, with 7 high versus 6 high. Kunal wants to make a deal, but
you can't make a deal in a World Series of Poker event.
Yeah. Dijon is like, I already looked into that. I finished 3rd before in one of these, bro.
Yeah.
Kunal is like the inexperienced one at this table, seemingly. Ben Dova asks, how are they getting hole cards? We GG Poker has contacted us and asked if we want to do commentary, and they were going to give us a cards upstream that's 30 minutes delayed, and here we are. So we're getting it because GG Poker is giving it. The World Series of Poker is very generous. How come Grant hacked the Matrix? Why is Grant the one who did it?
It's clear that Mike Frederick has differing levels of respect for us.
It is. Mike Frederick could go jump off a pier into water.
So that he's safe, but he's scared.
Yeah, he'd be fine. It wouldn't be not a very tall pier either, and he can swim. And if he can, he'll have little floaties, but still, he's going to get wetter than he wanted to, okay? It's going to be a little inconvenient, like sitting on his car with the wet seat on the drive back. Hey, let's get back to the situation. So things have changed pretty dramatically here, folks, as we look at the different stack sizes and the like, right? We have Alec holding on to first place, but there was a little while when it looked like Alec was just running away with this, partially because of luck. But now, also again, luck, like Dijon got it in, dominated against Alec all in, the ace-10 versus 10s, and hit that ace. But everything has tightened up pretty dramatically here, and this could be Dijon's chance to really take this thing over. I say that only because Dijon's already had a 3rd place finish. A 3rd place finish. So finishing 3rd again, I mean, it's great. The money is strong at this point. It's $150,000 already won. It's got to feel fabulous. But, you know, there's also like another 140K or so to win, right, when you include the WSOP Europe package. And Dijon's got to be hungry for more than just a 3rd place finish, right? Alex already won one of these. As far as we know, Kunal has not finished this high in any of these events so far. So ultimately, this is I got my eyes on Dijon to see. When we saw Dijon last time in the first event, Dijon was playing careful and tight the whole way through, really trying to ladder up. But there's not going to be too many laddering opportunities here for Dijon, I would say. We'll see. I guess someone can just get short between Kunal and Alec, but not my guess that it's going to go that way. Kunal still trying to make a deal.
Yeah. Maybe willing to do a backroom deal, but this is a lot of money to do a backroom deal with players that you've never met before.
Can't do it. You just can't do it. Like, if you don't know these guys really well, it's a terrible idea to assume someone you've never met and is only an avatar is going to Venmo you like $75,000. I mean, it could happen, but don't plan on that. People have been screwed many times. Turns out poker players, not the most trustworthy group of individuals when it comes to money.
Yeah, everybody's kind of seen that in their poker playing life if you've been around
Yeah.
for long enough.
Yeah. Hey Grant, you got any comments on Daniel Granu, his latest outburst against, I would say, really just Norman Chad. But hold on, Bendo was asking, didn't I used to play a PlayStation back in the early 2000s? I did, but only like once or twice. I mostly played at, there was a Brooklyn underground club in Brooklyn, Park Slope. I would play at mostly, where I played a lot there, a lot with Hasidic Jews and mobsters, mostly actually Bendova. But in the early 2000s, that is when I was there. It was like 2005, 6, 7, something like that. So yeah. So anything you want to say about Daniel Negreanu? Feels like it's big poker news these days.
Not really. I mean, nothing that anybody else hasn't already said. It's a bit of a disappointing fall from grace from my viewpoint.
Yeah, I agree. It's sort of, I'm a little worried about him. I'm a little sad that it's happened, just because like we've seen him, he was always such the happy sprite of poker, and he just isn't right now. And I don't know, man. It's a shame. Anyway, let's get to some more questions here. We got another minute. How's the Palm Pot game on Thursdays going? Well, they've done it once. We record it for Poker Time, which for those of you who are not normal Poker Guys viewers, we do every Tuesday. We have a video that goes out on our YouTube channel called Poker Time. It's a cash game. It's a 5-10 cash game we do the commentary on. And we just filmed a bomb pot game. So it's going to be all bomb pots. It's really cool. It's actually 2-card single board for one orbit, then 2-card double board bomb pot, then 4-card single board, and then 4-card double board. Just every orbit, it just keeps switching. So it's going to be really fun. That's going to be coming out probably over the next few months.
Sometime
probably in about 2 or 3 months.
And
maybe sooner, actually.
Within a year, No,
actually, that one's probably going to come out within the next 4 weeks. So we're looking into that.
Other
Scott
questions.
Chisholm asked, did we take the game, to the new location? We did.
Yes. And whiskey recommendations. I do drink whiskey, but not frequently enough to give a well-nuanced recommendation. I'm a fan of Macallan 12 and Macallan 18.
Grant just recommends drinking whiskey. That's his recommendation.
I mean,
all right, here we go.
Not exactly. Yeah, let's get back. Let's get back to the action.
All right. Well, 3 playable hands. Dejan's got amazing odds to try and flop a set here.
Yeah, I expect to see a 3-way flop.
Dejan must be considering a 3-bet. It's going to have to be pretty big.
Moves in.
Oh, my gosh.
Alex going to go with it. He did.
He has to go with it.
This is enormous.
Too good. This is potentially for the bracelet, whoever wins this flip. I mean, they're going to have a
Ooh, it's a
chip
queen
lead.
for Alec.
There's the queen.
An ace. Just a deuce now for Dejan. And it's a 5.
3rd place again. 2nd runner-up once again. Wow. A shocking squeeze play with deuces there. Got a little unlucky to run into near the top of Alex's range. And Alex got a 2-1 chip lead for the bracelet. Heads up, Grant.
Wow. That was Dejan with having a great summer, 150K here. Also finished 3rd in the opener for some similar amount.
Yeah.
But not as good of a summer as Alec, who already won the COVID 11-11 thing. I don't remember what the full name of that thing was, but something around 280K. Yeah, something like that. And now he has a shot for 273K in first here.
I mean, we're looking at $500,000 in winnings for Alec on these 2 events that we've commentated on, let alone whatever else he's done. This is amazing.
It is. Get to a few other things. T-Ga, thanks very much for the comment. I am reading it. I'm happy to hear that you love us. I like to be loved. It's excellent. Matt Licker said I look scruffy, but, I call it sophisticated.
Scruffy sophisticated, right?
It's like pandemic scruff. It's like it's appropriate pandemic scruff. When you're in the woods, you adopt a baby bear and raise it as your own. When it's a pandemic, you grow scruff.
I mean, everyone followed that clearly because it was so straightforward. Interesting lead here by Kunal. Really interesting lead by Kunal, who's been checking back top pair constantly. Suddenly leads out of nowhere. But it was correct.
Sorry, Malt Liquor Ho, not Matt Liquor Ho. My bad. I've lost a fan.
That was embarrassing. That was embarrassing.
Alec does raise. Alec is not going to be afraid of this moment.
Yeah. The thing for Kunal is there's no laddering up. There's nothing to do but to play for first. And so there's a freedom in that. Kunal's the type of person who makes this call. Yep, there it is. And flops pretty good.
Might see a raise from Kunal here if Kunal can get it into gear. Kunal's been quite passive with draws so far.
I expect a call. There it is. But Alec's going to be hard-pressed to bet this card. And if Kunal can breathe on the pot, breathe on the pot.
This is an absolute must bet. This is a must bet. And good job, Kunal.
Yeah.
Because you got to rep that 6.
You can have a 10. You can have, you can have a pocket pair because, you called the 3-bet. You can have lots of good hands there. Nice job. Nice to see Kunal be a little more aggressive when the time is called for it.
Well, we got a pair versus a much better pair here.
And the lead again. This is really interesting and different.
Ooh, now 2 pair for Kunal. This is brutal.
Oh, a devastating. And Kunal already with the lead.
And a full house now for Kunal.
I mean, Alec, I don't see how Alec's going to be able to fold to any reasonable size.
That's a big size, but Alec snap calls.
But you got to call.
Reasonable to snap call. Alec is not going to like that one. He is going to feel that one.
And just like that, they switch positions. Kunal now with the 2-1 chip lead. Oh my goodness. Wow. Kunal really not willing to give up anything, as we see on the button. Limping the deuce 3. Wow.
2 pair now.
Will Kunal fire again? I don't hate a bet here for Kunal. It should not work, but I do not hate a bet at all. Could have a jack.
Serious Isness asks if we agree that more rake is definitely better. That's a controversial opinion that's gotten people in trouble before, so I prefer not to comment, even though I definitely want to be raked at like a 90% rate, of course.
Look, if you're the casino, more rake is better.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's the deal. That's the deal. It was a tough stance to take and not let go of. I'll say that. And a mistake. I think it was pretty clearly a mistake to have done that. But here we are, all these years later. Still paying for that one a little bit. He is.
Yeah. It's part of the plethora of things that Doug Polk throws at him consistently.
It's the main thing, really.
Yeah.
That Doug Polk throws at him. Those guys are going to be doing a heads-up match.
Nobody asked us to do the commentary, surprisingly. But
not yet.
I
want to say yet.
Kunal going with the min raise now that we're heads up. Kind of the opposite strategy that most people use. When he was 2.5xing when there were more players, and now small to big min raising.
I assume Kunal thinks that probably there's not a lot of difference in fold equity once he sets up against Alec between 2 and 2.5x, and so you're just min raising to get more value out of your position. That's my guess.
Well, you could
argue be though that Kunal is also
You could argue that you get more value out of your position by making it bigger.
Of course. No, but I was going to say it wouldn't surprise me also if Kunal is just doing what Alec is doing. Like that happens a lot in poker where someone picks a size and then everyone goes with it.
Alec making the check call with the ace high. Seeing one card. That's not a good one. Not one Alec wanted to see.
Alec his hand's probably just too good to bluff, but I'm wrong again.
Does bluff, does get called. Easy call for Kunal.
T-Guy asks who we think will come ahead in the Polk-Negreanu heads-up match. I guess Polk has got to be a favorite. Negreanu wrote a whole thing saying how Polk is clearly the favorite. It almost made me think it was too much. So I wonder if Negreanu's been studying, but
still, when Polk was
Polk
playing,
has done this a while.
When Polk was playing, his specialty was online heads up, no limit, and that's the format they're playing.
Cash.
And that's not Negreanu's specialty ever. It's never been his specialty. So it's almost an unfair thing to Negreanu to make it this format, but that's what they agreed on.
Doug offered to make it, half that and half whatever game Daniel wanted. And Daniel said, no, we'll just play heads up. So, no limit. So whatever. Like Doug was fair about that. And I don't know why Daniel agreed to that. It makes no sense to me.
It is online, Scott Chisholm. It is 2 tables simultaneously, kind of like the Galfond Challenge.
It's actually not going to be fun. The cards it's going to be cards down. They're going to be between 10 and 25,000 hands. Maybe the very end of it will be fun, like with the Galfond Challenge, but it's going to take, a really long time to play out. They're going to be 2 tables max, I think. It's just going to be slow.
Hey, we got action. Alec has 3-bet the jacks, got called by the king 5. Pretty safe flop for jacks.
Yeah, this is we're going with it flop for sure. Alec really needed that pot. Needs another one too. Kunal could just put in a really big raise here.
Does not. Flops top pair. Gut shot and 2 overs for Alec, although it is a monochromatic board. And nobody has that chrome.
Well said.
Thank you.
I always thought that was weird, monochromatic. I guess in a four-color deck it actually works, but people say that, when we have 2-color decks. Great river for Kunal, except, of course, no action to be had.
Pot size bet. Not going to get any action.
Hard to imagine Alec's going to call with queen high. Alec got to see all those cards for 1 min bet on the flop. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's the power position right there. An initiative. So Mike Frederick says he thinks Daniel agreed to it, so he has a built-in excuse when he loses. If they played a game he's better at, then he have something to lose. I understand that, but Daniel stands to lose like $1 million playing. That's something to lose anyway. That's real money.
True. So
excuses, Daniel's been WSOP Player of the Year and WPT Player of the Year and all these things, he's had so many accolades. He's way better known than Doug Polk. So I understand what you're saying, but maybe that's what's going on even psychologically, but I think I don't think it's well thought out if that's what's going on. It's a lot of money. Even to Daniel, $1 million is a lot of money.
Yeah, we don't know what his worth is, Malt Liquor Ho, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's a lot because he said more rake is better, and Poker Stars was like, ooh, good one, Daniel. Here's so much money. We like that you said that.
Well, they were already paying him.
Yeah, but maybe it was more after that. Who knows? Anyway, we got 9s against 6-4.
Kunal he's got to go for 1 street of value, right? Has to bet the river. Hasn't bet at all. Wow, never bets the 9s. It's got to hurt a little bit when you see that 6-4. Probably could have gotten called on the turn. Snipper asked, wasn't it a 1-to-1 side bet too? I don't know, actually, Snipper. If it is, like the Galfond Challenge, those last 300 hands could be pretty exciting if it's close at all.
Yeah.
Pair for each player. So Kunal is definitely now upping the aggression a little bit, betting bottom pair when in the past he was checking. A little bit.
I don't think Alec can ever fold if Kunal decides to bet, but he does not. And Alec is staying alive here. It's been a disastrous start to heads up for Alec, but he's still got plenty of blinds, 30 blinds.
Well,
interesting flop here.
That's a cool flop.
Really good one for Alec.
A lot of chips go in. That's a pretty safe card. I think Alec really could bet the turn here with the draws.
Oh my goodness, it's a 6. Alec had a hammer lock on this hand in so many ways.
Well, they had a lot of chops, and now the lead with it's the 6 and the diamond. I think Alec can get away from this, actually.
I think so, too.
Because it's the 6 of diamonds specifically. What are you beating? Jack 10? Someone turning an 8 into a bluff for no reason? It's Jack 10, right? That's it.
Yeah. Alec having a deep think about it. Does fold.
Maybe Queen Jack. Great fold. That's still a great fold.
It is a really good fold.
It's easy for us to say it when we can see the cards, you know. Much easier anyway. It sucks to actually be in that spot with top pair.
I like Alec's aggression here, 3-betting the Queen Jack.
Yeah.
And Jack high flop.
Gets the call and
double up coming.
Yeah, he's gonna have to get called. Yeah. Just gotta dodge the 7. 2 cards to come.
Just a 7. That's it. It's a queen. Oh, nobody has a heart.
He does it. And Alex Stasiak creeps ever closer. Boy, Kunal really is pretty immune to 3-bets. Just gonna call those 3-bets.
Seems that way.
Alex should just not bluff. Should not be doing any 3-bet bluffing and just 3-bet for value with all reasonable hands. Like anything pretty good, I think.
That's what he's
enough.
done.
Like
that's what he just did. That's what he just did with Queen Jack, you know?
Totally. Depolarize that range. I like it a lot.
Kunal going for a little value on the river there. Couldn't get any. Against the Jack 8. Makes sense.
You notice Kunal just 3x it there. It's possible Kunal is not liking the way things are going pre-flop and wants to change it up.
Changing the strategy up a little bit.
We'll see if the 3xing continues. I'm not surprised, though.
That is more than a 3x.
So you're going really trying to change it up. I think Kunal is feeling a little bit beaten up pre-flop by Alec.
Well, Alec has flopped quite
well
here.
Look at the sizing. Yeah, Alec just can't fold this. Is Alec thinking about raising?
I wouldn't put it past him, and he does. I think this is a pretty interesting play against Kunal specifically.
Yes. Against this opponent, raising could really work out. It didn't, but I don't hate it.
In most cases, the stack depths are just not right for that, but I think Kunal being so sticky with anything makes it okay.
Yeah. I feel like this is going to be tough for Kunal now. Like Kunal's gonna need to run pretty good against Alec if he's going to call all the 3-bets and things like that with wide ranges against Alec's better hands.
He did he limp called the Queen 6 and Alec got the good flop. Yeah.
See, Kunal is really changing it. Like every time now pre-flop, it's a different thing, right? We saw a 3x, a 3.5x, and a limp the last 3 times. That's very unusual.
Oh, and
once again, pair against pair.
And Kunal leads again.
Wow.
And Alec turns a flush draw.
I think he should bet.
He does. Yeah. Kunal just gives up. Just lets it go.
It's understandable. Yeah. But I still like that bet by Alec. If a heart comes, you want to try and build that pot up. And we're really seeing Alec just chop up small pots right now.
Yeah.
Which is what you want to do.
Well, Kunal finally has got a real hand here. Alec might 3-bet.
I think huge sizing.
Oh, Alec just folds. Alec picking the perfect time to not go for anything.
Yeah. Yeah, Alec calling with the 10-9 off and folding the king 5 off to 3x sizing. It's interesting.
10-9 certainly plays better at these stack depths than king 5.
You know, you make top pair a lot more often with king 5, though. Make a hand you can actually stick around with a lot more often.
There's other types of hands that 10-9 makes the king 5 doesn't.
Of course. I think they're both calls. I mean, I don't think either one should be a fold.
Yeah. But Alec flops middle pair.
Expecting a bet. There it is.
That's not a good card for Alec.
If Kunal can find it in him, but he can't find the gear to bet, could bet this too. It probably gets through if he can find a size here of like 2 million or more.
Less likely than it was on the turn to get through, but still has a shot.
You could have an ace or a king very easily and check back the turn, but he just gives up.
I feel that Kunal, like you
Alec.
said, is starting to feel a little bit just dominated at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone's been there where you're playing against someone good and things aren't going your way and you just start to expect that you're going to lose the heads up match.
Yeah.
You know, and then like you don't engineer it, but you might make plays where you're like, you think a little bit less. You're a little more willing to take like crazy spots because you assume you're probably going to lose anyway.
Yep. Hitting the bottom of that S curve.
I don't know if that's of course happening, but it does kind of feel like that's what was going on, at least for a little while. Although
I agree.
Sometimes just winning one pot will turn it around, you know.
And, you know, the way variance works in heads-up matches, somebody might have the best hand at showdown for a long time, like for 6 or 7 showdowns, and it just feels like they're beating you up, especially when you don't see those showdowns, but they keep taking aggressive actions and you keep folding, and you're just like, how am I going to beat this person? But they just have better hands. That can happen heads-up. I find heads-up to be much more psychologically difficult to navigate than any other poker situation.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Wow, look at this. The 3-bet with deuce 7 suited against a guy who calls all the time. And here's the cooler flop.
Yeah, this might be a cooler if Kunal raises, which he does not. Okay.
I mean, I was gonna say if he shoves, it's gonna force Alec out. But does Alec just shove here?
He could move Kunal
pot size bet. I mean, if he checks, he's kind of giving up.
Ooh, he bets an awkward amount because if he gets shoved on, it becomes a very strange spot. Oh, he gets there on the river.
Oh my gosh, this is probably it.
He goes for it. Can Kunal find a fold, or is this it?
I say calls.
Oh, man, it's close. It's worth a think here, Kunal. Take your time. You got 8.5 minutes in that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, really. Take your time. I think Alec chose the small sizing on the turn, thinking he could shovel out of rivers whether he gets there or not. He's trying to give himself that fold equity, but I'm surprised he didn't just shove the turn.
What are you doing
here?
He
is now.
Kunal? What's your thought process as Kunal?
Oh my gosh. I guess I'm thinking about what hands do I have here? Like what's my range and how strong is this hand in my range? What am I blocking? With the 10, I am blocking queen 10, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any diamonds, which isn't great. Top pair is going to be one of the better hands I'm going to show up with.
Kunal finds the fold.
Finds a fold. I'm really surprised.
Great fold by Kunal. Really good timing for that fold.
I mean, Kunal just calling the turn really limits the strength of his hands here, right? With the stack sizes being what they are. King 10 is one of the best hands he's ever going to have. Unless he rivers 2 pair.
So yet again, you want the player to do the thing they didn't do that would have cost them their tournament.
It's actually not that I want him to. It's that I would have expected him to, because it's such a spot where like it's hard to come up with that many better hands.
Yeah.
You can really even have, and you block some of the strong hands that your opponent can have.
Kunal tries the limp with kings, but doesn't get anything out of it.
But we haven't really seen Alec triple barrel at any point, right? Triple barrel bluff. We've seen lots of give ups by both of these players. No one really triple barrels. So I think Kunal read that correctly.
Check out this sizing from Kunal. He really could have just moved in with a king jack there, but went smaller. Interesting.
Yeah.
Alec could even raise.
Basically moving in, but yeah. Yeah, it is a little bit weird, but it's all the same in the end, right? It all plays the same.
This one's
double
interesting.
gutter here for Kunal.
Double gutter and now 2 pair for Alec.
Well, once again, Alec leads, trying to induce.
Ooh, bad card for Alec.
Alec hates that card.
Is Kunal going to take a shot?
Kunal probably should be betting here.
He does not.
Doesn't try it.
Takes.
I don't know if it was going to work, but he's probably supposed to take a shot there, right? With 8 high. I mean, you block some of the things you want your opponent to have, I guess, but still.
And we're at the point now where Alec feels like it's time to shove when he's got a hand, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
This could be it here.
Well, we might get it in. Yeah, we're probably getting it in right here.
Snap Alec calls. All right.
Could win his second bracelet right now. Right now. He is a slight dog.
So far, so good for Kunal. Another good card for Kunal.
It's just one more card, and he's back in it.
That looks like paint, though.
Oh, it's paint. It's
a
paint.
king.
It's Jack. And Alec has done it.
Alec
wins his second bracelet.
Man, congratulations.
Alex
Stasiak is truly winning this pandemic. He's having a great pandemic, and I'm happy for him. As you can see, he wins $285K. He also wins that 15K-ish World Series of Poker Europe package. That's pretty sweet. I wonder if he won the other. I wonder if the COVID one was the other package. You might have two packages now. That would be interesting.
I think it may have been. I'm not sure anymore. Who knows? But either way, really an extraordinary World Series here for Alec, and so far, and there's a long way to go. Like, Alec could win another one.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun final table, and I think Alec played it really well the whole time. It was impressive to see.
Agreed.
Anyway, we will be back on Sunday for the $1,500 GG Masters, I believe is what it's called. It's a $1,500 no limit hold'em event. It is a World Series of Poker event. And we'll see you guys on Sunday for that. That should be a fun one.
Should be fun. Yeah. See you then.